up coming off of his season at Cloquet Carleton. How did you see him melding back with the rest of the boys?
Well, I think he's fine. Obviously, this is a majority of these guys he knows from the beginning of the season. I mean, he's held relatively close ties with, especially the local guys here. So it wasn't too big of an adjustment for him to come back in. Maybe some system changes for him, obviously. Competition-wise is obviously a big shift, but I thought he fit in really well. He plays a simpler game for us just because he can't get away with some of the things he does at the high school level. But I thought he looked really good for his game back up with us. Had a really good shift. Wasn't productive on the board like he likes to be, I know. But he has some really nice opportunities, and he served well defensively. And so that's what we like to see is, for him to make the jump to this level, he's got to be good defensively, and then offense will come at that point. So we were happy to see what we saw from last night, and hopefully it just keeps progressing here as the end of the season goes along.
You've got some guys that are going to be in the middle of a string here where they're playing basically 5 games in 6 days. I'm looking at Tyler Watkins and Zane Dempsey from the top prospects tournament. Bram Shearer suffered an injury there, but first of all, we'll talk about Watkins and Dempsey as far as how you seeing them getting through this week with so much playing time.
Well, obviously it's hard when they go to top prospects and, they're already playing on a roster. Waddy's team only had 3 lines. Zane's team has the 60, but they're playing a lot of ice time. And it's not like you're playing against soft competition. Obviously, you're playing against the very best that can be selected. So it's a lot of hockey in a short amount of time for those guys. But they're all, they're athletes, they're competitors. They dictate to themselves like professional players when they show up. And so they're all taking a stride. I thought Waddy looked a little tired last night. Something I had a conversation with him last night, but again, that's kind of to be expected with the travel and everything coming back. But I thought, they both started the game yesterday looking tired, doing some rough plays, but they got better as the game got along, so they got their legs back underneath them. And so today, hopefully, they came and they both got ice for a little bit this morning. They come out and just play the way they're supposed to be. But obviously, that's just, when guys get that many games in a short amount of time, it's kind of like playing in the East Coast League. You just got to be able to manage their physique at that point and make sure they're doing the right things in their body and getting their proper rest so they can show up every day.
And then Bram Shearer out after the top prospects. Kind of a tough time to deal with that, but it's a time for other guys to kind of step up.
Well, yeah, I think that's exactly it. Like, obviously, it's tough to lose him in the lineup for this weekend against, games, obviously, that we need to win and also against a tough opponent. But when players go to that top prospect, that's a chance that can happen, obviously. Both him and Watkins end up getting a few good opportunities out of it that we'll probably be talking about here later on. It'll be exciting to announce. But, yeah, but it does open up other doors for other players coming in. Christian Galatz obviously coming in, gives them a little more opportunities to play. Some of the other guys who play lower minutes gets them a chance to play a little bit higher in the offensive time. And we kind of look for those guys. And this is the time of year where they need to step up and kind of show that they're very low. So gives some guys an opportunity. And obviously we'll let Brad make sure he goes through the recovery process here so he can get into the last amount of games.
All right. Now, tonight, Johansson gets back in net, and you get a big time here to try to get a couple points here. This is a good team that you're going up against, pretty well, just having played them a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think at this point, both teams know each other well. We might change. We've changed our systems here a little bit near the end just to change a few things up, be a little bit more surprised when we play our opponents. But this is a team that they play well in the rush, so you're going to acquire the rush. They're very skilled offensively. They're pretty responsible defensively. They've got a great goaltender that does a great job keeping them in games. And so, again, just like when we played them here last time, this is a team where we have to defend well with good structure. We have to make sure we quiet the rushes, not giving them time and space to the puck. And then offensively, this is a really good goaltender, so got to find second and third chances and make it hard for them to see pucks when we are getting pucks in front of that. If we can do all those little things, we'll be successful.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot here. Good luck tonight. And all right, that is the head coach of the Minnesota Wilderness, John Valancourt, as the boys get ready to take on the Bismarck Bobcats, the first game of a 2-game series here in Cloquet. Bismarck coming in with a 27-11-7 record, 61 points, and in second place in the Central Division. 4 points ahead of the Minot Minotauros, 7 points back of first place Aberdeen, and they've got points in their last 7 games. 6-0-1 are the Bobcats in their last 7, coming off of a sweep last weekend against the Austin Bruins. 1-0 and 3-2 scores in those games. Their defense has been terrific over the last few weeks. Even when the Wilderness played them a couple weeks ago, they got an overtime win in the middle of all that, but outside of that, it was basically the Wilderness picked up a total, I believe, 4 goals in the 2 games in Bismarck. Your B&B Market starting lineups tonight for Bismarck. They're going with Andrew Miller as their starting goaltender. Native of Boulder, Colorado, the starting defense, Ethan Gower with Carl Fish. And the starting forward line, Grant Johnson with Adam Stocko on the right and Lars Rodna on the left. This forward unit has been outstanding over the last few weeks. The Wilderness starting lineup made up of Isaac Johansson in goal. It'll be Ryan Nelson and Dane Stoyanov on defense. Starting forward line, Mitch Allard with Gavin Rasmussen on the right and Nate Adrian on the left. Time now to pause for our national anthem. All right, the Cloquet Elementary kids with the national anthem tonight. Tonight being Cloquet Elementary night, they selected them after they turned down my idea to have Sean Krauser do the national anthem, and Sean joins us now with his reaction.
Well, it's always fun to have the kids involved. I mean, no matter how you look at it, and very happy that I kind of heard a little hint of the music teacher in the background a little bit, maybe a little coaching there.
I think there was a little. Yeah. So our picks to click tonight as we get ready for what will be the ceremonial puck drop here, and it'll be Mr. Wangan, the principal at Churchill, that'll be doing the honors tonight with the captains present there. It'll be Mr. Stocko for Bismarck and Ryan Nelson for the Wilderness. And I had to write all these down because we had so many people contributing picks to click tonight. Cameraman Eric Lippinen selected Gavin Rasmussen. We have Becca Lindberg has selected Alec Coakley. That's a surprise. And we've got Kenzie, who is here with us helping out, has picked Dane Stoyanov. Her friend Quinn has selected Isaac Johansson. And Mr. Krauser, you're going with Aaron Myers.
I am tonight, yeah.
And I'm going to go with Garrett Worth.
I'm a little surprised that Becca Lind is here tonight. Her niece is playing in the state hockey tournament. They're
is
playing
that
for the
right?
Championship, yeah.
Okay.
Bryn Martin.
Well, I'm glad to see we got some dedicated fans here, and wow, what a story that is for CEC to get to that championship game. Terrific effort by Coach Olin and the gang to move on in that tournament with the championship game scheduled for tomorrow in St. Paul at the XL Energy Center. We're underway here. Wilderness wearing their white, Bismarck in black. As the puck is moved toward the blue line, the Bobcats are able to break into the zone in the opening minute, but it's dragged out to center. Allard out there along with Adrian as this puck is sent deep in the Bobcat end. And the Wilderness make their first line change here with 30 seconds expired in this hockey game. Here come the Bobcats as they move through center. Gower able to rifle it into the zone. That sails over the glove of Nelson. Hustles after it in the corner. Sweeps it along the wall. Now it's pitched over to the near side by Myers. Played down low. This is Adam Stocko with it. Backhand pass goes to Aaron Myers. He banks it off the wall. It goes to Nate Horn. Feeds it ahead to Myers. Myers with 3 assists in that win last night over St. Cloud. Here's a shot blocked by Nate Clark, but Myers still able to follow through with it. Pass for Nate Horn off target. It goes to the far wall. Pinching in is Kimball Johnson. Puck comes free, taken by Worth. Deals it down low for Myers. He tried to feed it out in front back for Worth. That's picked off by Willie Stauber, and it's thrown to center. Here's Holmes to the right side to Kimball Johnson. Moves it ahead for Myers. And now he has to come back in the Wilderness zone. Blake Holmes will skate ahead and gets to the red line and dumps it in. And no, they're saying that he did not get to the red line, and they're going to call this an icing with the first whistle coming, 1:32 into this contest. The rest of the Wilderness forward lines, we just saw Myers with Worth and Horn. Tyler Watkins is centering a line with Shakara Hanzawa and Jake Herter, and that's the line coming out right now. And the fourth forward line for the Wilderness, Lewis Crosby with Christian Galatz and Alec Coakley. The rest of the defensive pairings, we got Blake Holmes that was out there with Kimball Johnson, Zane Dempsey with Ryan Nelson, and also Dane Stoyanov with Matt Vase. Starts of the latest addition to the Wilderness lineup from Moscow, Russia. They fling the puck off the high glass. It comes out to center. It's dumped into the Bismarck end. Going after it is Tyler Watkins, fresh from the Top Prospects tournament where he picked up 2 goals and an assist. Here's a shot blocked in front by the captain, Ryan Nelson. Bismarck able to come away with it, and they move through center. Will Hillman able to deal it to the near side. There it's dumped in by Daniel Schladik, another one that was in the Top Prospects tournament. The Bobcats had 5 representatives go to Attleboro, Massachusetts. Here it's banked off the wall, and it glides into the corner of the Bobcat end. They're picked up by the former Duluth Marshall Hilltopper, George Granis. Thrown to the left side. They gain the red line and dump it into the Wilderness zone. Zane Dempsey goes after it, picks it up in front of Sam Martell. Martell moves in, shoves him against the wall, pins him up. We've got 2.5 expired here in the opening period. No score. Wilderness and the Bismarck Bobcats collecting the puck in the corner is Lewis Crosby. He picked up a goal last night against St. Cloud. Moves along the left side, feeds it for Coakley, and a shot right on. The save made by the goaltender Miller. That's the first shot of the hockey game, coming 2 minutes and 41 seconds into the contest. The rest of the Bismarck forwards tonight, you've got George Granis with Daniel Schladik and Will Hillman. Austin Jopi, the Duluth native, with Sam Martell and Jacob Marty. Jack Conroy with Austin Schwartz and TJ Irie. And the rest of the defense with Jack Olson and Willie Stauber. Dawson Klein with Nate Clark. They throw the puck along the wall. Brendan Sloth gets the shot away right on. Miller able to scoop it up. And he hangs on to force another stoppage as the Wilderness get a nice work on the faceoff and get a good scoring chance.
You know, a couple of nice things that are happening that I'm seeing with the Wilderness is that they are going to the net. So once that shot is taken, they are breaking towards the net. And I can see that the coaches are playing a little more conservative. I think the Wilderness skating well yesterday. I expect they'll continue to do that.
Puck gets caught up in the circle before it's batted toward the corner. Ethan Gower will play it to the far wall, tries to feed it for Irie. Irie also played in the Top Prospects tournament in Massachusetts. Here's Rasmussen swinging one toward the net. That went wide. It caroms toward the front of the net, and then the play whistled down as it appears the net dislodged just ever so slightly. So the Wilderness will, let's see, depending on who knocked the net off, could get another offensive zone draw here with 3:07 expired in the opening period. Faceoff will come to Miller's left. Allard able to win the faceoff, feeds it for Stoyanov, throws one toward the net. That is blocked, and Irie able to move it for Schwartz. Here comes Schwartz, gains the Wilderness zone, gets the shot away right on. Johansson makes the save. Rebound hops right to his midsection. And he's able to maintain control to force the faceoff in the Wilderness end. Johansson's number is 2-3-2 record, 2.81 goals against average, and a .908 save percentage. Was in both of those games last weekend against Aberdeen. Stopped 21 of 24 in the last contest, 4-1 loss to the Wings on the Saturday night contests, and has fallen short in 2 straight hockey games. Kimball Johnson able to move it behind the net, played ahead for Nate Horn. That got away from him. Willie Stauber is able to dump it back in the Wilderness zone. That gets away from Johnson, but he's able to regroup and collect it, moves it off the wall, and it comes free for the Bemidji State recruit Aaron Myers. To the left side to Nate Horn. tries to move it back across. That one off a stick, and it bounces free in the far corner. Now Nate Horn in the circle, tries to weave his way through traffic before the puck is knocked off of his stick, and Nate Clark leads the rush the other way. Pitches it into the Wilderness zone. Karams off the end boards. There's Johnson back there. It pops free right at the extended goal line. Backhand by right on the save, and they score. Good patience there by Grant Johnson. And able to collect the puck after basically a giveaway in the Wilderness zone.
I think the defense thought that that we had it, and obviously that wasn't the case. You got to stay with it, until the whistle blows.
Unassisted goal for Grant Johnson. He leads the Bobcats in scoring, and he's hit the 40-point mark on the season with that goal. 14 goals for Johnson, native of Grand Forks, North Dakota, and the brother of our own Caleb Johnson, not able to play for the rest of the season with his knee injury. Here come the Bobcats the other way. Granis takes a hit along the wall. Puck comes free for Nelson. Moves it ahead, and they break through center. Herder with Watkins. They bring it into the Bobcat zone. That went off a stick, and it lands in the glove of Will Hillman. Kicks free out to neutral ice. Now Herder will deal it the other way. Finds Watkins. It goes off of his stick. Comes free in the corner. Battle for the loose puck. In there is Hanzawa. Also Watkins. Hanzawa trying to break out in front. Sweeps it through the crease. Stoyanov with a drive right on the stave by Miller. Bobcats regain control, and they move it ahead. This is Schlatic. He's able to dump it in. Schlatic had 3 goals in the Top Prospects tournament. One of them was the number 1 play of the week for the NAHL, and a goal that was actually assisted by Tyler Watkins. Here come the Bobcats the other way. Shot by Marty ends up going up and out of play. And that puts a stoppage to the play at 5:05 expired here in the opening period. And the faceoff will come to Johansson's right. And we'll see Austin Jopi to take this faceoff with Lewis Crosby. Here is Dane Stoyanov. He swings it to Brendan Sloth. Feeds it through center. Christian Galatz moves it ahead, and that comes back into the Bobcat end. This is Ethan Gower backhanding it over to the far side. Carl Fish feeds it for Marty. Back behind the net it goes. And from there it's taken by Gower. Over to Martel. Out to neutral ice. Batted ahead by Stoyanov. Here comes Christian Galatz. Puts on the brakes at the half wall. Galatz feeds it for Stoyanov. And Stoyanov had it slip off of his stick, and the Bobcats are able to bring it back. Sam Martel over to the left side. Gower had it jabbed away. Nice defensive move there by the former Cloquet-Esko Carlton Lumberjack Dane Stoyanov. Now Crosby able to drive it toward the corner. Wilderness complete a line change. We've played 6 minutes, 1-0. Bobcats in front. Holmes deals it to the corner. And in there is Rasmussen. Also looking to dig it free is Allard. Battle for the loose puck along the wall. And taken away by Rasmussen. Over to Adrian, and a shot went off the side of the net. On the right side, shot right on. That was knocked away. Now Kimball Johnson hustling after it before it hopped over his stick to Blake Holmes, who dumps it in. Puck caroms toward the rear of the cage. And Fish looks to break out, being watched closely there by Nate Adrian. Also in on the forecheck is Mitch Allard. 1-0, Bobcats leading. Fish is a new recruit of the University of Minnesota. He's going to be a Golden Gopher. Longtime Gopher fan, getting his childhood dream coming true. Where have you heard that story before? I remember a guy that had that experience here with the Wilderness. Puck played along the wall. Price tries to feed it down low. That got away from Conroy as he ties up Kimball Johnson. Puck comes free at center ice. Willie Stauber with it for the Bobcats. They move it through center. Conroy redirects it right to Johnson, and trying to break through is Jaden Price before it was worked off of his stick. From behind the net, it's Kimball Johnson. Able to feed it ahead to Aaron Myers. Breaks in on the left side. Stauber reaching in, and he's able to throw Myers to the ice. We got a penalty coming here against the Bobcats.
Yeah, Willie Stauber is definitely not going to agree with that. He thought it was a good, clean move to get him off the puck, and Yeah, you can't throw a guy to the ice. It just, you gonna be called for that.
Willie Stauber is not a guy to shy away from physical play. We've seen that
We saw
this
that in the
season.
high school years, and it's not going to change. He's got definitely style of play that is very physical.
His dad being Billy Stauber.
Yeah.
And it seems like every other game I announce now has somebody from the Stauber family, whether it be here or in high school games that I announce. Had a chance to interview Emma Stauber a couple times during the girls' high school playoffs. She's the head coach of Proctor Hermantown. Here's a shot redirected by Worth, knocked aside by Miller. Bouncing puck along the wall, comes free right point. Banked ahead by Johnson, goes behind the net. Worth able to swing it over to Watkins. He whips it back to Worth. Wilderness got their last power play goal last Saturday against Aberdeen. They move it to Dempsey. Back to Watkins, up to Dempsey. Fires one, goes wide at Karams to the right side. Johnson able to relay it back toward the corner. In there is Horn, who leads the Wilderness in power play goals with 4, trying to work himself free. And he gets dragged up. Able to get the pass to Johnson. Now Dempsey over to Johnson, right point. Feeds it along the wall for Nate Horn. Johnson fires one toward the net. That is blocked. And feeling the sting of that was Will Hillman as the Bobcats clear the zone. Hillman able to make his way to the bench and gyrating there as he was reeling from the pain of blocking that shot. Here come the Wilderness with 44 seconds remaining in the man advantage. This is a community printing power play at work against the Bobcats. A very good penalty kill, and here it's fired the length of the ice by Austin Jopi. Off the Karam, Ryan Nelson will control. Breaks out from behind his own net, deals it for Crosby to the right for Aaron Myers, takes it off the Karam, spins back in his own zone. In on the forecheck is Schwartz as the pass comes to Nelson. We got only 15 seconds remaining in the power play. Here comes Nelson through center, tries to connect with Myers, and that's off target. And now Dawson Klein is able to clear, tries to get it to Jopi breaking through for a shorthanded chance, but it ends up in the corner. Final seconds of the power play. Jopi from behind the net tried to get a centering pass away from his knees, and it ended up on the side of the cage. Now Holmes breaks across the line. Pass goes to Adrian. Shot right on. Save made. Rebound goes behind the net. Allard couldn't control it, and now Stocko will feed it right side. Breaking in is Rodna, native of Norway, able to direct it behind the net. Puck is whipped off the glass, bounces through center. Jack Olson tries to move it ahead. It gets to Nate Adrian, former Roseau Ram, over to Blake Holmes. It's coughed up at the blue line. Now Rodna connects with Johnson. Back to Stocko, and he got double teamed. Rodna moves the pass for Johnson. That was blocked. They get it to the left point. Fish, right side. Gower winds up. There's the save made by Johansson. To the corner it goes. Rodna threw it back to the circle, and the Wilderness are able to regain control. Adrian able to dump it in, and the Wilderness change up. Gower collects the puck behind his own net, feeds it through center, finds Hillman. He breaks across the line, finds Rodna. Reaching in, it was Galatz. They get it to the point for Gower. On the left side for Fish, shot blocked, bouncing puck toward the net. Redirected to the end wall, and this is Will Hillman. He spins along the far side. Hillman, who leads all rookies in scoring for the Bobcats, loses control of the puck. Crosby able to work it to the far side. Then it got away from Schladik, and now taking over is Coakley. He'll dump it in on the backhand. Sweeping in is Galatz. He hustles after it on the near side, but it's taken over by Schladik. He breaks into the Wilderness zone, feeds it out in front. It's loose. Granis shot right on, saved by Johansson. The puck ends up behind the net. Now Worth gathers it, throws it toward the blue line. Reaching to maintain the zone is Granis with the shot, and he scores. George Granis makes it 2-0 Bismarck. 8:36 left to play, first period.
Bismarck showing a lot of tenacity, keeping that puck in the Wilderness zone, and they just kept their feet moving. They were cycling the entire time.
Yeah, there was some tenaciousness out there. That's the 9th goal of the season for Granis, who is committed to play college hockey at Clarkson University. And the assist on that goal going to Daniel Schladik. And all of a sudden it's 2-0, and the Wilderness find themselves in a hole against a team that's been playing some very good defensive hockey lately. Bobcats allowed only 2 goals in the entire series last weekend against the Austin Bruins. Here it's chipped into the Wilderness zone by Jacob Marty. Batted to the far wall and collected by Worth. They're able to center. Marty gets the shot away. Blocker save by Johansson, and it ends up out of play. And we get a whistle with 8:10 left in period 1. And a 2-0 lead in favor of the Bobcats. And we got a media timeout here as we are through the halfway point of the opening period. And been an exciting couple days here as far as hockey goes in this Cloquet area here. Sean, you did a couple of games with me for the Lumberjacks, Lady Lumberjacks. Your thoughts on what they've accomplished so far?
You know, where they're really excelling right now and taking nothing away from any other aspect of their game, but their goaltending has been outstanding. She's only a freshman,
right,
Kaminsky, and I'll tell you what, for her to go in and face the type of competition that she's faced, it's been impressive. And then not only that, but then she's got a senior not only backing her up but supporting her. She's feeling really good and very confident right now.
That's what I thought was one of the keys going into that game on Wednesday. She's going into the XL Energy Center with all the bright lights and the big scoreboard and all, and just a huge stadium, and for her to be able to pitch a shutout in that game shows what kind of poise she's developed over just her first season of varsity hockey.
Well, she's got nothing to be afraid of, I'll tell you that.
There's a one-timer off the faceoff. Marty able to get the shot on goal, and Johansson makes the save. And like I mentioned before, junior hockey world, it's not that big a deal, but for us here in Cloquet, this is huge for us for us to be able to see this, and we salute what that squad has done. As the puck is moved to the near wall, banked out to center, taken by Watkins. He moves it left side for Hanzawa, thrown toward the net, knocked aside by Nate Clark, and the Bobcats break through center. Jopi on the near side for Martell, reaching in, able to jab it toward the corner. Jopi leaves it for Martell, and he tries to work his way toward the net, now moves toward the wall, feeds it to the corner, picked off by Johnson, who moves it over to Jake Herter. Herter breaks across the line, sweeps it across. Here's a shot by Holmes. That one off the crossbar, rebound by Hanzawa, is played over to the far side. Wow, I thought Holmes, I thought that was in the net too. Here he fires one that ends up wide of the mark. Allard within a corner looks to center, taken by Willie Stauber. And here come the Bobcats. Conroy across the line, and he's forced wide by Zane Dempsey. Now the jousting begins behind the net. Allard able to come away with it, and he finds Nate Adrian. Banks it off the wall. That goes into the Bobcat end. 6:54 remaining. Opening period, 2-0. Bobcats leading. Dempsey gets a shot away. Here's Rasmussen with the shot in the glove save by Miller. Rasmussen had a couple of tries there. And Gavin still looking for that first goal of his this junior season.
Well, Miller was definitely in position. He's definitely playing very well, and it's going to be hard to get one past him, like you said. I mean, only 2 goals let in last weekend. So
Miller, 17-7-3 record on the season. As this puck is thrown toward the net, this is Lewis Crosby with it. Swings one toward the cage. That went wide, and it comes free to the near wall. This is Alec Coakley. Coakley, a little too much traffic, and he has to drag it along the wall. Feeds it for Galatz, back to Coakley. Galatz with 32 goals this season for Cloquet-Esko Carleton, 13th in the state of Minnesota. Puck is swung to Lewis Crosby. Crosby trying to shake off pressure from Jack Olson. Crosby from behind the net. Gets the shot away. Miller makes the save, and the rebound goes to Adam Stocko. To the right for Rodna. Dempsey tries to work it off the wall. It gets to Crosby. He's able to throw it across the ice, and it gets to Jack Olson. Wilderness change up, less than 6 to play, first period. 2-0, Bismarck in front. And this is going to be an icing call on the Bobcats, finishing up on Miller's statistics. 2.49 goals against average and a .902 save percentage. And then a lot of that credit for the success also to their backup. Ryan Newland is a terrific goaltender as well. And Miller has got himself a commitment to Minnesota State Mankato. Going to be a Maverick just like Will Hillman. Bobcats are able to clear. This is going to come back in the Wilderness zone. An icing call here with 5:43 left to play in period one. Your officials tonight, the referee, and actually he's going to be our referee for both nights, is Christopher Leary. And our linesmen tonight, Andrew Bartholomew and Colton Capel. Nate Horn controls it in the corner, and he's pinned up by Jack Olson. Myers trying to work it free, banks it to the right point. This is Stoyanov. Feeds it off the wall to Garrett Worth. And the pass back to Stoyanov slips out of the zone. He has to dump it in. We get the Wilderness have to check at the blue line. Pass for Hillman slipped off of his stick, and now here comes Dane Stoyanov. Ahead for Myers, moving toward the net. Gets the shot away and a shoulder saved by Miller. Stoyanov really showed the kind of reach he has there with that pass for Myers. Now Myers over to Worth, and the shot went off the pad of Miller. And the Bobcats break out. On the far side, this is Daniel Schladik. To the right to Gower. Swings it along the boards. It goes behind the net. And going after it for the Wilderness is Startsev. Moves it ahead to Worth, who will dump it in. Wilderness changing with now 4:35 remaining in period one. On the left side, Hillman able to dump it in. Holmes going after it, steps in front of Granis. Granis able to work himself free, tries to center, glove down by Martell. He took a hit from Holmes. Blake able to move it ahead to Jake Herter. Here comes Herter, right side. Ooh, looked like a good pass, but Austin Jopi able to break it up. Now Hanzawa. Looks to center. It went off the skate of Willie Stauber. Now Hanzawa loses control of the puck. Jopi coughed it up right back to Hanzawa, who had it stripped away by Stauber. On the near side, Jacob Marty gains the zone. Feeds it across. This is Nate Clark. The shot right on, the save by Johansson. Loose puck gathered in the corner by Hanzawa. Cleared to center. And right there is Sam Martell able to dump it in. Martell's got ability both offensively and defensively. He's played both positions in his junior career. Puck goes to center, collected by Schwartz, who gains the Wilderness zone left side. Schwartz darts to the net. And the puck came free. Nice work on the defense there by Kimball Johnson and Blake Holmes. But it's stripped away from Herter. Here's Schwartz with a shot off the post. Schwartz again looks to center, goes to the left point. Jack Olson throws one toward the net. That caroms wide. And Herter is there to clear. That hits the scoreboard, and that is out of play.
I think that's the first time I've seen that in this rink.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
That happens a few times.
I don't see it very often.
Yeah. We've got a big scoreboard for such a low ceiling.
We do.
You know? Yeah. Face off to the left of Johansson. They move it to the right point. Dawson Klein left side. Olsen swings it down low. It kicks free for Allard. Chips it ahead for Klein. The shot, and he scores. That sailed over the shoulder of Isaac Johansson. And the Bobcats now have a 3-0 lead. Dawson Klein just throwing the puck to the net.
You got to put the puck on the net. You know what? You do that, and you just never know. And then maybe you get a rebound. Other opportunities. And the more you shoot, the better your chances.
Klein's goal from Jaden Price and Conroy puts the Bobcats up by a score of 3-0. They had a 3-0 lead in their game against Austin on Saturday night, held on to win 3-2. Dawson Klein, he is a former Minnesota Magician. That's his 5th goal of the season. Puck thrown to center. This is Rodna with it. Puts on the brakes on the half wall. Feeds it to his fellow import, Stocko, out in front. And that comes free to the near wall. Rodna, right point for Fish. He fires one wide of the goal. And Galot's in there trying to work it free. Able to free the puck. And he swings it to neutral ice. This is going to come back in the Bobcat end. No icing as it's thrown out of the zone by Gower. Now Rodna tries to dump it in. That went off a skate. Granis able to throw it toward the Wilderness cage. Directed aside by Johansson. And here come the Wilderness the other way. Horn swings it over, but that's picked off by Hillman. Now Myers will control. Banks it off the end wall. Moving in is Stauber with a shot that deflects wide of the goal, and it got caught in some of the pockets there on the outside of the net. And play whistle down with 1:42 left here in period one. Invited Kevin Smalley to come up here to have a conversation during the first intermission. We're going to talk about the Section 7A and 7AA playoffs with the semifinals coming up tomorrow.
Well, Kevin will always have some really good insight, so well worth the interview, in my opinion.
Also want to pick his brain about what it was like to play against Bill Kennedy back in the day. Bill Kennedy having
right.
having passed away with what was it, about 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
Could be the godfather, you could say, of Cloquet hockey.
Right.
Here is Dane Stoyanov in his own end. 1:20 remaining here in the period. And with it is Sloth. He carries it across the line, feeds it for Worth. Banks it down low. And here is Herter. Throws it out in front, and that redirects wide of the goal. Worth centers. It gets to Holmes to the right point. Off the boards, it goes down low. Myers with it. Over skates, and with it is Herter. Jake Herter trying to shake off pressure from Austin Jopi, able to work it out in front, but it's quickly cleared out. Now Holmes fires it toward the corner. We're down to 40 seconds remaining in the first period. Bismarck with a 3-zip lead. Holmes swung and missed, and now Martell able to pitch it toward the corner. Holmes feeds it to Kimball Johnson, and he skates out of his own end. Fires this deep in the Bismarck zone. They get it to the right point. Holmes tries to get it down low for Adrian. That was cut off, and it's sent back in the Wilderness end. Loose in front. Oh, my goodness. That was almost a costly mistake, as it was coughed up right to Conroy. Wow.
I'm not even sure he knew what to do at that point.
Just sitting there like a candy in the dish,
Right.
waiting for it to be picked up. 8.8 seconds remaining. They get it to the left point. Fed to Klein, thrown toward the net, and Johansson able to sweep that aside. And they pin the puck along the wall, and the buzzer sounds, and Wilderness happy to see that period come to an end.
Go in the locker room and assess what we need to do differently, you know?
I mean, they know they can score against this team. They know they can beat this team. They beat them just a couple weeks ago, so it's just a matter of one step at a time and moving forward here. Tough part is you've lost 4 straight at home, and you want to turn things around here, and this doesn't make it any easier.
No, it sure doesn't. And the thing of it is, though, is that I think what I'm seeing here is that they just need to be a little more aggressive, and that is something that I definitely have noticed that the Wilderness needs to kind of increase that aggressiveness and kind of do what they do best. And right about now, there's a couple kids that I watched in high school for the Wilderness that played on the Duluth East team, and we all know up here that right about now is when the kids from Duluth East start to play really well.
Yeah, and
so I'm anticipating a much different period the next period.
Yeah, we'll see how things they react and look to turn things around. We got we do have a couple guys that are playing in their once this week is over with, they'll have 6 games and let's see here, 1, 2. I'm gonna count this over. They have 5 games in 6 days.
Yeah,
that's Zane Dempsey and Tyler Watkins. Both of them get quite a bit of ice time as it is, so we'll see how much energy they have left.
But see, that's a learning experience for those guys. And like Coach was saying during the pregame interview, is that that it's his job to kind of help these guys, not only coach them on the ice, but also off the ice. What you put in your body, how much rest you get, all of that stuff. That's super important, especially this time of the year, and you're getting in that much ice time.
Yeah, it's all a matter of work that you put in, and you got to be smart. I know that both those guys come from athletic families. And Tyler, his dad being a doctor, I'm sure knows how to
Some
advise
nutrition
him
stuff,
the right way about nutrition.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Zane's grandpa played football for Michigan State,
Right.
and so he's got knows the importance of what it takes to be a competitive athlete.
Yep,
So.
I agree.
So we are waiting Kevin Smalley to swing on by. I don't know what, who knows if he's going to make it. But, it's interesting. We talked about, with the section playoffs tomorrow, you've got, Cloquet was ousted. Cloquet Carlton was beaten on Tuesday night against the Elk River Elks overtime contest, and a game in which we were able to see Zach Michaelis play, who started the season with the Wilderness and is expected to come back once Elk River is done. But he scored that game winner. I don't know if you saw highlights or were there for that game, but he was fantastic in that hockey game, and scored a highlight reel goal for that game winner.
He's definitely one of the better skaters in this section. There's no doubt about it. And I did not make that game. But I've heard, and I've watched some other clips of him, and coaches around the area, they respect him.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a great addition, even to finish out the rest of this year.
Well, it's he had a nice start, 7 points in the short amount of time that he was with the Wilderness, and you look at Michaelis, 14 games he played, 2 goals, 5 assists, and we don't have anybody else that's matched him as far as rookies go. Well, we do. I'm sorry. Brendan Sloth has 7 points as well. So those are the 2 rookies with the most points for the Wilderness so far. So, it was a good start for Zach.
Yep.
So he'll be playing tomorrow in that game at Amsoil against Grand Rapids. And the other semifinal is going to be Andover and Forest Lake. Those 2 are going to make a 2.5-hour trek to Duluth. 2 schools that are about a half hour apart from each other are going to travel 2.5 hours for a semifinal game.
That happens all the time. I remember when I was a kid, that was the same thing. I grew up in Section 8 over on the western side of the state, up in Thief River, and it never made sense to us that we'd be like 3 hours away from home, and we were like 20 minutes away from each other. We're going to play each other down there, so it doesn't surprise me. It's just how it falls.
Yeah, it's I don't know. If I were them, I would lobby the section to say, hey, we would get more fans. The section could very likely make more money.
Yep.
If you put this game somewhere like Fogarty Arena, or the Blaine Super Rink, or any number of places that are a little bit closer.
Some of the nice things about watching some of these teams, like Forest Lake. Number of years, that's a team that really hasn't done a whole heck of a lot. So for them to be in one of the top 4 in the section, that is quite an improvement to that team. And hats off to them. They're working hard. They've got a good program there, and look forward to more things to come.
Yeah, 1-0 they beat Duluth East in their sectional quarterfinal game, and they have a young lady. As their goaltender.
Yeah. Well, and then not only that, but then East outshot them. I think it was almost like 3-1. That's a lot of shots for a goaltender to stand in there and So I hope when they went in the locker room, they all gave that guy a super high five.
Yeah, she. It's something else, really, to be able to. It's a great testament to her competitiveness and a testament to the team to give her a chance. So
when I had a peewee team and I had 2 gals on it, and I'll tell you what, they not only could they match the boys stride for stride, but you put them in the corner, and I can guarantee you they always got the puck. Always got the puck. They worked very hard, and I was very happy to have them part of the team. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Josie. I might be mispronouncing this. Josie Bothan is the goaltender for Forest Lake that shut out Duluth East in that quarterfinal game. Following, I guess, in a way, the same path that Maddie Rooney took with Andover, who played with the boys, and now with Minnesota Duluth, and made her way to the Olympics as well with Team USA.
Yeah, and she's definitely a well-noted goaltender who has worked very hard, well-respected, and a lot of fun to watch. She really, truly is. So hats off to that. And it's fun to see that those types of players come through because, there's so much bias, they're not good enough or they're not strong. You know what? I can debate that all the time.
Yeah.
There's just no way that I would ever turn it down.
It's one thing, we see the North American Hockey League, with as it has grown over the years with all of its different, different areas that it has delved into, where it's got the NA3HL, it's got the NAPHL. It's also broken out with a bit of a prep league of some schools that aren't affiliated with any other prep association getting involved, and you wonder when there would be a ladies division that might start with junior hockey. I don't know of a junior league for women in the United States. I believe Canada does have a small junior league, but we'll see if that is something that as the game grows, popularity, that the demand is going to be there.
Well, things have definitely changed. I mean, I remember when they first started coming out with the girls teams, because there weren't any girls teams back in the day, and I even skated with a gal, and at times she kind of looked around like, why aren't there other girls out here playing? And I you kind of wondered the same thing, and as the game has evolved and it's changed, and I do think that you're going to see some junior leagues and more opportunities.
I think overall, if it continues to grow like it is, I got to think that it will. It has to at some point.
Well, I hope so. Yeah. I really do.
And you look at it, UMD is hosting Wisconsin this weekend, and one of the young ladies on their team is Abby Rock, who grew up in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and I know this because it's my hometown. And she played. Sault Ste. Marie does not have a girls hockey program, so she had no choice but to play with the boys.
Yep.
And she excelled with on the boys team.
Yeah, she was well-noted player.
Yeah, they ended up going to a state championship game with her, yep. And now with Wisconsin, where she is excelling with the Badgers and is a Patty Katzmeyer Award finalist. Just recently named one of the 10 finalists for the Patty Katzmeyer Award. So it's you're seeing a lot of talent out there. That's if you can't get it with a girls program, you see what you can do with the boys. So
well, and in that particular player, I bet you if you were to go back and ask any one of her teammates if she was a valued member of their team, hands down, they would not say anything different. All of them, every last one. So I mean, it just goes to show you that there is a spot for everybody. There truly is.
Yeah. And you got 7AA. I'm looking. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have time to go to either of those games, but it'd be fun to be able to see Andover. I'm hearing all kinds of praise about Andover, about the quality of team that is, and we've seen a number of good players come from Andover, come through the Wilderness program. Tyler Bold came from the Andover Huskies, and Brandon McNamara, who was with this team last season, started this year with the Wilderness, now with Janesville, and so it's a program that has constantly grown, but has yet to get to that next step of going to the state tournament.
Yeah, they've been evolving for a long time, and they just haven't. You're absolutely right, Marty. They haven't gotten to that point where, where they need to be. And I think that they're making the right steps. They're doing the right things. It's just a matter of time. This is a very competitive section.
Yeah.
No matter if it's A or AA, everybody plays, no matter what, and every single night.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised to see Andover, reaching to this stage, and I would not be surprised to actually see them go to the state tournament.
Well, yeah, I think if they get to the state tournament, they're going to be one of the favorites. So
yep.
yeah, I think they've been up near number one for most of the season.
Yep.
So it's last year they were expected to be there, but Duluthi's came in and surprised them, and just like they normally do, but they don't have that. They don't have to cross that hurdle this year. So they've got Grand Rapids is probably going to be. If they can get past Elk River, I think that's going to be a pretty competitive game.
I think that'll be probably the better of the two games, to be honest with you. I think Rapids
and Elk River.
Yeah, I do. I think that Rapids is kind of surprising people because earlier in the season, boy, I tell you, they looked lost. They just, it was a very tough beginning of the season to those guys. And then all of a sudden something started to click. And that usually happens in Rapids about mid-season that they start to realize, oh, we can do this.
Yeah.
They're a young team. Their goaltender is playing very well right now.
Yeah, Clafton.
Yeah.
He's a great talent.
So, I mean, you start to put some of that together, get some hockey puck luck
Mhm.
and a few of those things, and the next thing you know, that you're in a position that you're in the driver's seat,
Right.
and it's what you want to do.
And then I think one guy, and we've got Eric Lippinen with the camera on the youngsters out here that are playing. But one guy that has been huge for that Grand Rapids squad is Jack Peart, who I got to see him in their it was Cloquesco Carlton's regular season finale.
Mm-hmm.
Never saw him before. Didn't really know a whole lot about him, but I mean, he stands out.
Yeah, he does
right away.
He's a player that has a very heads up game, and he has very good hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, for a high school player to have that, and if he can continue to develop that,
Yeah,
I mean, the sky's the limit for that.
Yeah, he's something else, and still got another year left of high school, so we'll see what he decides to do. But he's got St. Cloud State in his future, so the Huskies have got him ready to go. So it's going to be exciting to see what that young man can do. I know he's got a good hockey pedigree there. His sister is right now playing for Quinnipiac, Sadie Peart. So it's it'll be interesting to see how that all works out. And then you got 7A. Hermantown is back in the mix again. Going to be going up against Eveleth Gilbert, and Denfeld against Greenway in the other semifinal tomorrow night. So
the kid to watch of that Hermantown team, and not to take anything away from the other kids, but I sure like watching that Blake Biondi.
Biondi is something else.
I'll tell you what, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do at the college level. I mean, his dad, played for UMD. He was a heck of a player. So again, the hockey genes are going downhill, and he's definitely stood out the last few years. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch him continue on his hockey career.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of talent there, and they just had, I think it was a junior, Pierce is his name. I can't remember what, but that just announced a commitment to UMD. So one of their defensemen is so it's and then so another year left for that young man. So and Hermantown back up there, and I'm sure they are going to be hungry to get back to the state tournament after they were upset last year in that finale against Greenway.
Yeah, they were dethroned, and they don't want that again.
Right.
That is definitely not in their plans.
They've kind of owned that section for a long time,
they
and they want to get back to their place.
But another team that's really impressive in that particular section at that level is Denfeld.
Yeah,
I've been very impressed with their play, especially they've had they've had a coaching change a few years ago with Kevin stepping aside, and then now you've got them coming through this. Their coach has got them believing. I mean, and that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that time of year. I love it this time of year, and it's just going to get even more exciting as it develops. I always like to think of that time from late February as Rick Myers walks on by. There's a guy that can tell you some stories too.
Yes, he is.
Former North Dakota Fighting Sioux.
Yep,
that's Aaron's dad.
Yep.
But was part of that 1980 national championship team. In fact, you look at this when you get to that point where the state tournament starts. And I mean, that's where it starts. And you have, and then it follows up with the college hockey playoffs. The NHL playoffs get going in April, and then the NHL begins its run in April. It doesn't end until June. So I look at beginning of March until June as the greatest time of the year.
It truly is. But you like to watch the teams at the beginning of the year to see what they're about. And it's fun to watch them evolve, especially the ones that that they're going to do something different. And then the ones that you expect to do something different and they don't, you're like, well, what happened? I mean, you try to figure that out. So, hockey is one of those games where, anybody can beat anybody at any given time. You just got to believe and have the right game plan in place. And I was part of a couple of those teams where we beat teams we shouldn't have beaten. And then I was also on teams that we should have beaten those guys, and we didn't.
Right.
So we just, fell apart, or somebody did what they were supposed to do. So.
And Kevin went to the locker room, and it looks like he's helping out with the coaches, so it's fine that we had a chance to be able to fill some time here. But one thing I wanted to talk to him about was his time when he played against Bill Kennedy, and and I mentioned this. I kind of did my own little eulogy of him a couple weeks ago, right after I found out about his death, and you look at what he did as far as growing the game of hockey here in this area. There was no, when he took over the program, there was no indoor ice rink.
Nope.
He was the guy that led the fight to build the barn.
Yep.
Right next door to this arena, which is basically the predecessor, the first indoor rink in this town. Yep. So, and he did not. I read the story about this, about how he was rejected. I don't know what board he was trying to lobby to try to get funds for that. I don't know if it was the city council.
I think it was,
or it might have been the hockey board or something.
Yeah.
Where they turned him down,
yep.
And he said, and I guess he uttered an expletive, and he says, "We're going to do it ourselves." Yep. And and they did it. They raised the money, and they got the thing opened up, and that was in the late '60s. Yep. And by 1982, they had a state tournament team.
I never had the privilege of talking with him or meeting him, but legend has it he was a fella that just didn't understand the word no.
Yeah.
And his pedigree, it totally makes sense, being a Marine, a former Marine, and how he grew up, and also how he lived his life after, his coaching career and things like word just didn't exist to him. No, just didn't exist. So, without guys like that, without people that, it wasn't against anybody else. He was just, if you didn't believe it, fine.
Right.
You go stand in the corner, I'll take care of it. And he did, so it's fun to hear that.
No nonsense kind of guy.
Yep.
And he was tough as nails. And I don't know, the stories I hear about him is that he would sit behind the bench and didn't really have that maybe a huge jacket on, but he had these big chopper mitts, and he would clap his hands, and he would use that as a signal to guys to get off the ice. And they heard him, no. And other stories that I heard about from him, the Mattawa Death March, where he would drop as part of a early season practice routine, drop the guys off in Mattawa, and have them run back.
Yeah. Well, and that tradition carried on I guess not that particular one, but the boys are expected to be able to run a mile within a certain time frame. And so, it wasn't quite the Mattawa run, but they still had to do a mile in this particular time.
Yeah.
And I know that my son went through the program, and he's not a runner by any means.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, when he was told that, he practiced for 2 years getting ready to run that run because he wanted to be able to do what Coach Essie wanted him to do. So it's fun to watch that and hear those kind of stories.
Yeah, it's I hear about that, and it's it's something that you just don't know about. And people not familiar with the area here, Mattawa is a town that's about 15 minutes south of Carleton, which is still about 5 minutes outside of Cloquet. So you're looking at about a 20-minute run there from where they were dropped off to the rink.
Yeah, exactly. And Cloquet has a lot of stories like that. There's a lot of people that have come through this town, after they got done and they built that, and then they built this rink. Hats off to a community that can come together and do that kind of stuff. And right now, Hermantown is discussing a second rink.
Okay.
And they're going through the process with that, and it's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, I know 5 of the major contributors to that process right now, and they're working really hard at it, and they're coming together, and they're trying to bring the community together. And it's not just a hockey rink. They're looking at doing a trail system, so it goes to the Munger Trail, and they're also looking to fix up some ball fields at the same time.
Okay.
So it's an interesting time, for that particular community as well.
You know what? Something I totally forgot about is I interviewed the head coach of Bismarck before the game, and I was planning to run in here during the first intermission, so I should probably do that since we're running out of time, and we'll get that started here for you. And thanks, Sean Krauser, for that conversation. We'll pick that up again when we get started with the second period, because I've got some thoughts there about Hermantown and what that community has, how that particular hockey community has advanced over the years. But here is the head coach of the Bismarck Bobcats with the interview recorded before the game, Lane Sedevy.
Well, looking at your record over the last 7 games, pretty impressive without a regulation loss. Your thoughts on how your team's been doing so over the last few weeks?
Well, it's been a lot better than the stretch we had before that, but we had didn't have the best luck, but there's really no excuses in junior hockey. Everybody's got injuries and all that sort of stuff, but we're getting, knock on wood, we've been getting guys back each week here the last 3 weeks, and, we're still without one guy, but, like I said, it's the dog days, and, what do you do? So just think the team's obviously played well, and, last weekend was a big weekend to go in Austin and get our 4 points back from them. So, we kind of got to be road warriors here with playing you guys tonight and then going back to Austin next weekend.
You had a good start on this road trek with 2 wins against Austin. Your thoughts on that weekend?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean, we've had success in their building over the years. It's been maybe a little tougher lately. But I don't know. You look at the travel that's involved in going to Austin and coming to here and going back to Austin, and then you throw top prospects and 5 guys going to that. You go 3-3, you're probably pretty happy about it. And, we go down to Austin and get our first 2. So, off to a good start, but, you got to take it one game at a time.
Right. One guy that stands out to me as far as how he's been playing lately is your veteran, Adam Stocko, somebody that I'm sure you've relied on over the years, and really has seemed to pick things up quite a bit over the last few weeks here.
Yeah, he's been really good for us, and just I guess what you expect. I mean, I think he's 3rd all time on our scoring, and he's probably going to go down in history as one of the top. Obviously, he can't catch Garrett, but or the guy in 2nd place, but those numbers haven't been touched since I don't know, probably 01, somewhere around there. So I just think he was dinged up, and I think he's finally getting healthy, and I think he's finally starting to play the way that he did, last year as well.
And then you get your top prospect guys back, and with Daniel Sladek impressed me as far as his play at the TPT, really showing up. I'm sure you weren't surprised at how he performed.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I thought he did a nice job, and obviously, you see the way social media goes. You score a goal like that, and it kind of blows up. But he's extremely skilled, and I think he had 19 goals for us last year, and I think we got him back 2 weeks. He was out too, so it's nice to have him back in the lineup, and he brings a lot of skill, and especially to our power play too. That's a big thing that we've kind of struggled with lately.
Right now, you look at the power play, but then you make up for it with a strong PK over the last few weeks, though, too.
Yeah, our PK's been pretty good all year. It's we've had a few dips, but haven't had to go back to too much. Just I think it shows a lot of character and a lot of what it's a little bit different on this sheet. I think it's a little bit it's a little bigger, and I think you got to be more calculated with your points that you pressure at. But I think, to me, you always have guys who want to be on the power play. It's the guys that want to be on the PK and the character that really show through on your hockey team.
Now, Andrew Miller as your goaltender tonight, and I'm sure you look at him as somebody that's been very reliable. And he had his first appearance on this ice sheet a couple weeks, about a month ago. I think it's something that he can adapt from and learn from going into this game here tonight.
Well, I thought he was the only guy that showed up that weekend, to be honest with you. I know on Friday night I watched him make more reel saves than he should have to make in a whole year. But, he's been really good for us. He had a bit of I don't know, it seems like when these kids get committed, maybe they have a little bit of lot going on and big decisions in their future. But, he'd been fantastic. It was really good for us last weekend on Friday night. And, he's just, to me, he's a top-tier goaltender in this league.
And then overall keys for the game here tonight?
Well, I just think we have to be good in our neutral zone. To me, it's the one key that we need to do a good job on. Just making sure that we're not allowing, the Wilderness to transition, and conversely, our transition game has to be. We got to be on our toes. We got to push the pace, and if we do get a little bit caught behind, we just got to do a good job, take away time and space.
All right, Coach. Good luck here tonight. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
And that is the head coach of the Bismarck Bobcats, Lane Sedevy, with his thoughts going into this game here tonight, and his team responding quite well in that opening period with 3 goals. It was Grant Johnson, George Granis, and Dawson Klein connecting for the Bobcats. The Bobcats were out shooting the Wilderness in that opening period, 13-11. 10 saves that period for Isaac Johansson and 11 for Andrew Miller. Looking at other scores around the league, we've got out east 8-4 Northeast on top of Maine. That's in the third period. 4-1 Jamestown leading New Jersey in the third. looking at South Division scores, Amarillo and Shreveport are both clinched playoff spots, and it's Amarillo with a 2-1 lead over the Mudbugs. And we'll get to other scores here in a moment as we are underway for the second period. As this puck is sent deep in the zone by Ryan Nelson, collected by Ethan Gower, and he swings it for Carl Fish. Off the boards, redirected by Stocko for Granis. Granis takes a hit, still controls. Now it's chipped off of his puck, and then he regains the puck and throws it for Rodna on the far side. Rodna stick handling toward the blue line, and a shot redirected wide. Bounces to the circle, played ahead by Myers. It goes for Worth, and brought across by Horn. Myers splits the defense, over to Worth, the shot, and he misses the net. Right back the other way are the Bobcats. Rodna gains the zone, drops it for Stocko, shot right on, the save made by Johansson. Stocko, the commit to American International University, which is where former Wilderness Yanis Yaks is still playing and doing quite well. I see him showing up on the score sheet quite a bit for the Yellow Jackets. Yeah, I might have to do that on behalf of Giannis one of these days. Giannis was one of the fun characters that were with the Wilderness for a couple seasons. Here is Hillman trying to shake off pressure from Blake Holmes. Now moving in is Watkins, jabbing the puck away, gets it to the blue line. Clark holds the zone. It comes free for Hillman. Hillman from the side of the net, now behind the cage, looks to get a wraparound attempt, and then he falls down. Shot by Stauber went wide. We got a penalty against the Wilderness, as they're going to say that Hillman was dragged down. Now Watkins gains possession of the puck, and a play whistled down. And it'll be a hooking minor that is going to send Blake Holmes to the box. So first power play of the game coming up here for Bismarck. On the far side, it's Nate Horn able to throw it to center. That goes right to Sam Martell, who backpedals with pressure from Aaron Myers. Bobcats have given up 9 shorthanded goals this season as Stocko swings it along the boards. It goes to the far side. Hillman stick handling in the corner. Moves it to the right point. This is Martell over to Schladik. Down low to Jopi. Back to Schladik at the half wall. Schladik stick handles to the corner. Curls back and mishandles it along the wall. Able to slide it to Jopi. They get it to Hillman. Up top, here's Martell. Far side, this is Stocko. We got a whistle and the net dislodged. Stocko was stick handling there on the far side. He's got 8 points in his last 8 games and is going to finish his career as one of the top scorers in the history of the Bismarck Bobcats. Right now, 123 career points coming into tonight. 31 points on the season here, but his first 2 seasons, he surpassed the 40-point mark. They get it to the right point. Fish moves it to the far wall. It caroms to Stoyanov, who will fire at the length of the ice. 1:05 remaining in the Bismarck power play. Clearing attempt by Miller is blocked by his own man. Now Fish with it. To the right for Klein, who will deal it off the end wall. In there is Dempsey along with Stoyanov. They get it to the right point, and Fish holds the zone. Feeds it for Rodna. Back to Fish up top. Near side, he gets it to Klein. Back up top to Fish. Fish bottom of the circle for Klein. Back to Fish. Over to the far side. And this is Rodna. Lars Rodna to the corner for Johnson. Back to Fish. 25 seconds remaining in the power play. They get it out in front. Granis' shot is blocked. Rebound. Ends up behind the net. Now Klein up top for Fish. Back to Klein, top of the circle, far side. One-timer by Rodna right on. The save made by Johansson. And he's able to hang on. Good zone time there for Bismarck. They were able to cycle the puck consistently there, but the Wilderness weren't giving him much. Whoop, let me turn you up here, Sean. Go ahead.
There we go. We're back on. Very good puck movement, definitely, and heads-up plays there.
Johansson to watch this draw to his left. 7 seconds remaining in the power play, and reaching to try to hold the zone was Stauber, but had come out to neutral ice. Irie dumps it in. Holmes exits the box, and he rejoins the play. We have played over 3.5 minutes of the second period. 3-0 Bismarck in front. It's swung to the right point. Nate Clark tees it up from the high slot. Shot deflects wide. Holmes darts after it. Oh, and he levels Austin Schwartz with the shoulder hit. They get it to the high slot. Batted for Schwartz to Stauber. Gets the shot away right on. The save made by Johansson.
I think the Bismarck player was when he got up, he was looking like, okay, what number was that? I'm gonna get his number.
That was Blake the Quake.
Coach always asked that whenever I got leveled and I was looking at the rafters. He'd say, "Did you get his number?"
Get the license plate of that truck.
Truck that hit you.
Here is Johnson. Kimball Johnson will survey from behind the net. We've played just over 4 minutes. He's able to work it to center. Wilderness have dug themselves a hole from the first period. 3-0 is the score. Puck pops up in the air and brought across by Jake Marty. Looks to center, and Martel couldn't control the pass. Now here is the Mercyhurst commit, Kimball Johnson, out to center before it's jabbed away from Herter. And we're going to have an offside call here with 4:22 expired in period 2. Some of those other scores, you've got Lone Star, 2-1 lead over Corpus Christi. Midwest Division, Fairbanks and Springfield are tied at 1, game played in Springfield. Chippewa and Danesville are all knotted up at 2 apiece, and the Magicians have a 2-1 lead over the Kenai River Brown Bears. One game just getting started. New Mexico is playing host to Topeka. We'll get to the Central Division scores in a moment. Now on the far side, this is Martel. He finds Marty. Jake Marty able to slip it into the zone. It comes free in the corner, going after it Holmes. Also in there is Johnson, able to swat it to the far side for Nate Horn. Air Force Academy commit. Tried to feed it through center. That deflects to Johnson. Finds space through neutral ice. Feeds it for Horn, left side. Horn got a shot away right on the save made by Miller. And it comes free to neutral ice. Jake Marty will break across the line, left side. Throws it out in front and broken up by Holmes. Now Myers feeds it to the corner, heads to the bench. Wilderness change up. Going after it is Nate Horn, but it's played to center by Fish. Hillman over to the right side to Schladik. Schladik far circle. Able to work it toward the corner. Now Nelson ties up his man. Swung toward the faceoff circle, and Coakley is able to get it to Hanzawa, but couldn't control the puck. It's kicked away. Right back come the Bobcats. Here's Hillman. It's jabbed off a stick by Dempsey. From the corner, it's Granis. Skates along the blue line to the right side for Gower. Gets the shot away. That bounces wide of the net. Fish sends it down low. Stripped away from Schladik. The pass goes to Hanzawa. Took a hit, able to throw it to center, but it goes right to Fish. Now Nelson to the far side for Dempsey. Pass goes to Crosby, able to redirect it toward the Bobcat blue line. Here's Gower with Hanzawa in on the forechecks. Throws it to the far side. Schladik over to Hillman. Curls back, gets the shot away, blocked. Dempsey got in front of that one. Gower over to Nate Clark, and a shot went wide. And that caroms to Hanzawa, who moves through center. Puck thrown in the zone by Coakley. Wilderness trailing by 3, changing things up. 13:20 remaining here in the second. Hillman backhands it to neutral ice. It gets to Stoyanov. We got some physical play in this hockey game, and now Gower with it. We've seen a lot of hits away from the puck. Gower from behind the cage. Moves it through center, but then lost it. Rasmussen swings it the other way. Banked off the boards. Clark over to Granis. Chopped away by Rasmussen. He steps across the line with Allard. Pass for Adrian. And a bouncing puck couldn't corral it. Now Rasmussen behind the net. Gavman trying to shake off Gower. And he throws him to the ice. We got a penalty coming against Bismarck. Nate Adrian with it on the delayed call shot. Oh, and that went wide of the net. The net was dislodged, and who knows what could have happened if that net would have stayed in place, because it just slid to the left of where that puck was headed.
Yeah, I went right towards the puck there, and a lot of times, the goalie will push off from the corner, but that's not what happened. The pad, when he slid over, he hit it, and it just dislodged. So
you're saying it's not a conspiracy?
Not this time. Not this time.
Granis with the roughing minor. Okay.
Yeah.
Granis. Okay. Well, yeah. There's so he was one of the victims of some of those hits. So yeah, he was a little groggy. Off the draw, gets to Holmes. He feeds it for Nelson. Wide. Holmes with Myers in the corner. Wilderness 0 for 1 with the man advantage tonight. It gets to Herder up top for Nelson. Nelly to the corner to Herder. Back to Myers. Herder back to Myers. And a shot by Holmes went wide. Herder gathers the puck, feeds it to the right point for Nelson. Tries to throw it back to the corner. Herder finds Myers. Myers over to Holmes, up top to Ryan Nelson, the captain, to the top of the circle. Here's Holmes, bottom of the far circle for Myers, has to collect it off the wall, and moving in to get him tied up. As the puck goes to Nelson out in front, it's redirected, and it goes to the goaltender, Miller. I think that was Jack Olson that moved in on a perfect timing kind of situation as the puck got away from Myers, and Jack Olson tried to take advantage.
Nice little redirect there, but the 5-hole was open, and Miller was able to close that very quickly. And I thought there might be a chance there, but unfortunately not this particular time.
We're going to have a face-off that is coming to the right of Miller. Minute 10 remaining in the power play, and the Bobcats win this draw. They skate to center. It's lofted into the Wilderness zone. Bouncing puck caroms off the end boards. And Kimball Johnson will take over. Minute left in the power play. To the right, he finds Nate Horn. Horn had 2 points last night in that win against St. Cloud. He collides along the wall, falls down, hustles after it in the corner, takes it from Willie Stauber, gets it to the point to Johnson. Stauber and Horn continue to tussle away from the puck. One-timer by Startsev, right on the save made by Miller. And he hangs on with 39 seconds remaining in the power play. Horn's 2 points last night. That's his first multi-point game since February 7th. Had a bunch of them in the first half of the year, kind of fallen off the pace since then.
I think Stauber disagreed with what was happening on here in the corner with Horn, trying to advocate his position.
Here it's thrown the length of the ice by Carl Fish. This will go behind the Wilderness net. And we got 30 seconds remaining in this power play. Here comes Johnson. Wilderness did have some good attack zone time there. And Garrett Worth blew a tire going after that puck on the far side, and that allowed the Bobcats to clear it the other way. 15 seconds left in the power play, and again, Johnson quarterbacking. Feeds it along the left to Startsev, and he'll dump it in. Karam's along the boards, bouncing puck, settled down by Fish. And it comes free for Horn. Tosses it back to the corner. He and Watkins with it. And I tell you what, that Fish is no average guppy as he is able to neutralize Horn. It comes free for Watkins. Throws it behind the net to Worth. It gets to Johnson up top. Fakes the shot. Throws it out in front, and it's deflected over to the far side where it's taken by Johnson. Ahead to Stocko. Stocko drops it for Jake Marty. Fans on his pass attempt, and it's jabbed toward the corner by Watkins. Now from behind the net starts to slides it over for Adrian. And now Jake Marty able to dump it back in on the backhand. We've got less than 10 to play. Second period, 3-zip. Bobcats leading. Here's a loose puck, redirected. And the shot by Johnson. It rolls along the goal line, swiped aside. Oh, my goodness. Another, almost a very costly turnover again. Allard able to slip this one deep. Clark along the wall, gets it for Stauber, who will spin back. Chip to Nate Clark. Whips it off the glass to neutralize. That got away from Stocko, and it comes deep in the Wilderness zone. Sloth gathers it. Looks for some space before it's poked off of his stick. Taken away by the Bobcats. They look to center. Off the carom. Here comes Rasmussen. And his outlet pass went off the skate of Adrian. Now it's taken by Rasmussen. Now Rodna takes over. Steps across the line. Throws it toward the net. Looking for that backdoor play was Jaden Price. Able to move it to the right, to the center point. Clark. Over to Stauber. Schwartz saw the pass go behind him. And he feeds it down low. Price along the boards. Stauber feeds it for Irie. Swung off the far wall. This is Price. He's shoved off the puck. Irie gets it to the right point. Stauber over to Clark. And he'll throw this to the corner. Price waits for it. And now Sloth able to lift his stick. Coughed up to Price. Jaden Price. Trying to find some space, but Stoyanov hot on his tail. They get it to Clark. His shot floats toward the net. And it bounces off the crossbar. Rebound. They score. Bobcats make it 4-0. They had some immense pressure in the zone, and they're able to cash in. I think the Wilderness were gassed, to say the least. And it looks like it's Will Hillman that got the goal to make it 4-0 for Bismarck.
Well, on top of that, when your goaltender is struggling to know where the puck is, I mean, it was flying around. So
Hillman from Schwartz and Clark gives the Bobcats a 4-0 lead. 17th goal this season for Will Hillman. And again, the Bobcats get it in the Wilderness zone. It comes free in the near corner. This is Granis who drops it back for Schlatic. And he coughs up the puck, and right back come the Wilderness. This is Crosby across the line. Overskates it at the half wall, and now Fish will clear through center. Pass too far for Schlatic. He'll collect it behind the net. Daniel Schlatic gets the shot away off a stick. Now Granis will spin in the corner. Banks it to Schlatic, trying to shake off Lewis Crosby. Hillman in there, and now they move it over to the far side. They get it to the right point. Pass comes to Fish. His shot is blocked. Getting in front of that was Lewis Crosby. Crosby jabbing it toward the corner. Able to throw it toward the rear of the cage for Hanzawa. Shikara using his shiftiness, moving it over toward the far side. Now gets it to Coakley. One-timer by Johnson. Miller got the save, and it comes free behind the net. Fish with it. Banks it off the boards, and it makes its way to Holmes, who throws it back toward the blue line. Taken away by Myers. Myers made his man fall down, moves toward the net, back and try, and he scores! Aaron Myers puts the Wilderness on the board.
There's my guy.
Made the man break his ankles, and he got the bar down shot to put the Wilderness on the board, now down 4-1.
I bet Miller would like to have another opportunity on that one. You know, he made a commitment, and he had to quickly come back, and he just didn't have it. You know, Myers made him pay. Committed too early.
Aaron Myers with his 7th goal this season. That's his 4th point this week. And his 26th point on the season. And that comes at a big time here before we get to the latter stages of this second period. Making the score 4-1, and still a chance to get a little bit closer before this period is done. Bobcats look to break out as the Wilderness with more pressure in the zone. Myers tries to throw it toward the corner. That's blocked. They continue to battle for it. Banked ahead for Jopi. Myers picks it up and dumps it back in. Puck taken behind the net. This is Dawson Klein, who's got 1 goal tonight. Fans on the clearing attempt. Stick handles again and throws it on the near side. It caroms toward the end wall, and this is going to be an icing call on Bismarck. So a chance here for the Wilderness to get an offensive zone face-off. And this is going to be taken to the right of Andrew Miller. Bobcats win the draw, and they skate to center. Marty Pass could not connect for Jack Olson. It caroms off the far wall. Olson bats it toward the blue line. Schwartz swings it down low. Comes free along the near side. Christian Galatz in there. Dug free by Irie. He gets it for Schwartz. Thrown back toward the corner. Taken away by Stoyanov. And now Galatz tried to spin away, and it's taken away by Jopi. Moving in there is Startsev. Now Irie getting tied up by Watkins. It comes free out in front. Now Herter able to move it ahead. Now Galatz able to dump it in. That bounces free in the corner. In there is Watkins, and the puck pops up in the air, and it goes out of play. With 5:22 left here in the second period and a 4-1 lead for the Bobcats. By the way, unassisted goal for Aaron Myers. And yes, Sean Krauser, we know you picked him. We don't have to hear it 20 times tonight now.
Who picked him? Who picked him? Oh, the Bemidji State recruit. That's where I went to school.
Is that right?
It is.
Chance here for Crosby. One-timer by Coakley, and the big save by Miller.
That was a nice play. He tried to feed it out to the guy out front. Crosby did a heck of a job. Heads up right there. And he had Coakley had a much better opportunity than he did.
It was Crosby that got the game winner last night in St. Cloud. And here he'll take this draw. And I think this has been one of the better lines tonight for the Wilderness. Coakley, Crosby, and Hanzawa. They've been hustling. Here it's swung to neutral ice. Played ahead by Crosby. Skates across the line, left side. Fans on the shot attempt. It goes behind the net. Stripped away by Hanzawa. Out in front for Coakley. Stocka was there to negate him, and then Coakley falls down. The puck comes free, and Rodna will skate out. And he got spun around thanks to Dempsey and Hanzawa teaming up. Hanzawa collects it at center. Skates across the line. Looks to center. Goes to Nelson. Gets the shot away. Goes off the side of the net. Bouncing puck out in front. They jab away at it. Miller is able to shut the door as Coakley was shoveling away at it, trying to jam it across. And Miller able to hang on.
You know, Hanzawa, this whole game, his motor's going. I mean, he is skating as hard as anybody out there, and he's always looking for that opportunity. And this last time when the puck was in the high slot there, he was kind of circling around on the outside, just kind of assessing the situation.
Yeah.
A lot of smart players will do that.
Here's Miller to take this face-off, watching this face-off to his left. It's Myers in on the draw for the Wilderness, and Horn spins along the boards, deals it down low, where it's picked up by Jopi. And he sauces it over for Fish, whipped off the boards, and Martell moves it ahead. Jopi tries to work his way toward the net. It comes free out in front, taken away by Jopi's former Duluth East teammate, Garrett Worth. And the puck pops up and hits the safety netting in the corner. We get a whistle with 4:05 left in period one, or rather period two.
He's having trouble with the periods tonight. I agree with the cameraman. Eric, I agree with you. Poor Marty.
Yeah, here's a shot, Marty, with the drive, and that ends up in the far corner. You meant Jacob Marty, right? Poor
That's
Jacob
right.
Marty.
That's right. Jacob Marty.
Now Austin Jopi overskates, and now it's picked up by Myers. He's able to slip it to Worth. Bouncing puck for Holmes. He has to chase after it far side. He and Gower hustle after it, and we got a penalty coming on Blake Holmes. Holmes had that put that little extra in that move to get around Gower, and that's what's sending him to the box.
Well, and he's trying to figure out why. I mean, holding. What do you mean holding?
Yeah, I didn't see a hold there really. Honestly,
just spun him around.
Yeah,
you know that'll happen when players that are faster than you get by you. You get spun around.
Oh well, and Tyler Watkins was looking for an explanation there as well, but that's all you'll get is an explanation. You're not going to see a pardon or anything.
No,
so the
never seen it.
Face-off coming to the left of Johansson. On the far wall, Rodna gets it to Klein, high slot. Gets the shot away right on the save made by Johansson. He's able to smother it. We get activity out in front. Another power play here for Bismarck. Holmes has the only 2 penalties called against the Wilderness tonight. Second power play of the night for Bismarck.
The water's better. That's what I always.
That's what it is in the penalty
water's
box.
better in the penalty box.
85.9% penalty kill for the Wilderness this season. 3rd in the Central, 6th in the NAHL. Fish swings the pass to Dawson Klein up top. Fish breaks his stick, and that allows Aaron Myers to come back. Shorthanded try with Nate Horn. Gets the shot away, blocker save, and it makes its way. Interesting whistle there. It did go out of play, I guess.
It did go out of play. Yep, it
okay.
did. You know, I got to tell you, every time I see a stick like that, it reminds me of, sticks are $250 a piece.
Yeah. Cha-ching!
That's a lot of shoveling when I was a kid.
Yeah, well.
Well, they were $250. They were $25.
Back then, yeah,
actually,
they weren't.
15 is what the sticks were. You know.
Yeah, you could get pretty good sticks for about $15. And, they were.
Christian Brothers.
Yep. Christian Brothers, Northland.
Yep. Then if you wanted a Sherwood, those were 30.
Uh-huh. I had a Titan, same as Mike Bossy's stick.
Oh, yeah.
And Wayne Gretzky also used a Titan.
Yeah, that's correct.
Hillman moves it to Stocko along the half wall. Back to Hillman. Pass deflected, and Stocko regains control. Down low to Hillman. Back to Stocko. He finds Martell. To the near circle, it gets to Schladik. Schladik, bottom of the circle. Jopi redirected. The shot went off the side of the net to Hillman, was right there. Hillman back to the corner for Jopi. Over to Schladik, back to Jopi. Austin Jopi decides to move it to the middle point, and the pass too far from Rentel has to come back to neutral ice. Flipped ahead and skating across is Hillman. He's stripped of the puck. And Watkins delivered a check to Jopi just as he approached the puck, and that allowed the Wilderness to fire at the length of the ice. 20 seconds remaining in the Bismarck power play. Bismarck's power play 19% this season, 3rd in the Central, 13th in the NAHL. This is Johnson over to Rodna, back to Johnson. And he tried to get a centering attempt away. It was deflected, and it goes to the far side. Spinning here is Granis. Rodna's shot went wide. Penalty to Holmes is over. He's back out onto the ice. They get it to Fish. He slides it bottom of the circle. And as Rodna received that pass, we get a whistle as the net dislodged behind Isaac Johansson. Stoppage coming with 1:28 remaining here in period 2. We are going to have Bram Shearer joining us during the second intermission to talk about his time at the Top Prospects Tournament. It was a pretty good experience other than the fact that he got hurt. And also hoping to see if assistant coach Brennan Phelps can join us as well. Here's Horn, strips his man to the puck, breaks toward the net, and falls down as it's jabbed to the far side. Myers able to strip it away from Schwartz, but here he's going to get called for a penalty. They're going to call Myers for boarding on the hit that was made on Austin Schwartz. And he heads to the box with 1:08 remaining. Another power play coming for Bismarck. So back-to-back power plays here as Coach Valancourt wants an explanation from Mr. Leary about the penalty.
You know, I don't blame him. You know, I really didn't think that what Aaron had done was bad. He went after the puck. The puck was there. I think the Bismarck player actually fell to his knees and slid into the boards.
Right.
And I really didn't, you know. So I guess I don't blame Coach Valancourt. I'd want to know what was going on too. What did he see?
Off the face-off, puck ends up behind the net. Going after it, Nelson. Stoyanov also there. It's dug free by Stocko. Banks it off the wall. He gets it for Martel. Back to Stocko at the top of the circle. Gets the shot away, deflected. Now Hillman gives chase. Jab down low. Jopi over to Hillman. Hillman back to Clark up top, and that is too far for Martel. Miller leaves it for Martel with 33 seconds remaining in the second period. 4-1. Bismarck in front. Here it's driven deep in the zone. Bouncing puck slides along the wall. Now it goes behind the cage, and Johnson is there to clear. 15 seconds remaining in the period. We've got 1:05 left in the Wilderness penalty. This is a Coors Light penalty kill on the ice here for Minnesota as Johnson breaks across left side. Grant Johnson looks to center, blocked by Kimball Johnson. And now we get another broken stick as the buzzer sounds, and the bill adds up for Bismarck.
Oh, we're up to about $500 now.
Hey, you know, at least I think we're winning in that category here tonight.
Some of these guys are going to have to call their parents and say, I need more money for sticks. That's always a parent. Their parents are like, yeah, this is great.
It's the way it goes in the NA. I don't know how far those sponsorships go with these things as far as supplying them with sticks. But
yeah, right.
You know, it's the life of a hockey player, I guess.
Right.
Granis lost one, and there was who was that shot the puck from the point that had one break on him as well, led to that shorthanded chance. So that'll do it for the second period. By the way, that other Central Division, there's only one other Central Division game tonight. That's in Aberdeen, Austin Bruins and the Aberdeen Wings, and that game is all tied up at 2 late in the second. Austin, the team we're chasing in the Central Division, and they've tied the game with Aberdeen. Still a lot of time left in that game as we are down to 1 period left. And on their way over are both Kevin Smalley and Brendan Phelps. So we're going to take a timeout. We'll have Coach Phelps on in a moment with the SCP. This is Wilderness Hockey on Hockey TV and Cat 7. All right, we are back between periods here, and we're now joined by assistant coach Brendan Phelps for the SCP segment. And been a tough couple periods here, a little bit better that second period, able to get one there, still going down by 3 going to the third.
Yeah, down by 3 here, Marty. Aaron gives us a nice spark of life there, but I mean, we were doing a couple things, go to the box a couple times. Just got to keep working. Like to eliminate some of the turnovers. Some of those turnovers are stuff that we've talked about all year long, and it sucks to see some of those things.
Yeah, we have seen a couple that have been costly here, and yeah, it's by this time of year you'd think that's something that they would work out of their system.
Yeah, you got to play the right way, and it's just plain simple, right? Couple chances to get the puck on net early in the first period there, and I mean, shots are 22-20 now, but I mean, if we get a couple of those shots on net instead of turning the puck over, right, that puck goes the other way, and now they have shots, right, instead of us having chance 1, chance 2, chance 3, which Miller's a good goalie, but if you keep getting opportunities, they're bound to go in.
Right.
So got to eliminate some of those just costly turnovers, especially at our own blue line.
Right. Yeah, the penalty that was called on Myers there along the wall, obviously not something you guys agreed with.
No, that's a good hit. I mean, it's okay to hit hard, right? That's still part of the game. It's still a game where, right, hard hits are part of it, where you look to get something out of that, build momentum from that kind of stuff. So that's a bad call, Marty, especially with 2 minutes left.
Right.
Less than two.
So the third period, key is kill this penalty, and let's get something quick here, get some momentum rolling.
Yep. 52 left on the clock for the kill, and we'll kill that off, get some momentum. There's a couple guys playing really well, so hopefully we can build off of that.
All right, we'll let you go. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Marty.
Brandon Phelps joining us here during the second intermission. You can hand the mic over to Kevin Smalley, who is who's the guy that's been keeping an eye on things for us for a lot of the. Go ahead. We'll just a quick. It doesn't have to take long. Do you need him back at the locker room? We won't.
Stay here for a second.
All right. Well, we well, anyway, so okay. Section 7A, Double A tomorrow. You're going to be down there. What do you expect to see? What are you looking for?
Well, obviously Forest Lake pulled off a pretty big upset. It's Duluth East is usually in that game, so it gets down to the playoffs and anybody can win. You get a good goaltender, you never know what can happen. So I expect the Andover game, Andover and Forest Lake to be a good game, but I expect a really good game out of Elk River and Grand Rapids. I've watched both those two teams play now in the first round, and Grand Rapids is playing pretty stellar defense, and Elk River's got some offensive talent, so it should be a good game.
Yeah, we saw what Zach Michaelis was able to do in that game against Cloquet Carleton, and obviously he's a force to be reckoned with in this tournament.
Well, anytime you give that guy space, it causes problems, and they're going to have their hands full trying to keep him down. Their second line that they played, the Humphreys kid actually had a couple big goals for him too. So, they're going to come at you with two lines, and they're going to throw their third line in there now and then, and they expect good things to happen for them if they get room.
Real quick, 7A team you used to coach Duluth Denfeld is going up against Greenway.
Yep.
Should be a good test for the Hunters there.
Yeah, I went to that game early in the year. It was the beginning of the year, and I was at the Heritage, and I think Denfeld had their way with them a little bit. Greenway was a little sluggish that night. But I thought that, now during the season here, I'm sure Clafton's got them ready to go. And, the Hunters are in a position where, they're expected to win. And, so it should be interesting to see what happens in that game.
Yeah, well, that's the last hope of Duluth, I guess you could say now, with the East out of it. It's a very weird position for them. Real quick, you got to play against Bill Kennedy teams in the past, and with his passing, and what his influence led to was he was the coach of Bruce Plant, and also obviously the godfather of Cloquet hockey, but with his coaching tree, you could see the influence of what led to Hermantown's growth there with Bruce Plant, and what did you remember as far as like teams?
I remember hating coming up here to play Cloquet because we knew what we were in for every time we played them. They played with discipline, passion. They came hard. Obviously the coach installed a lot of that in them. And the one thing I do remember most was him clapping his choppers when he wanted a line change. And, there wasn't one guy out on the ice when they heard them choppers clap that didn't come to that bench. So we knew they were changing.
Yeah.
But, it just goes to show the respect that the players had for him too. And certainly well-deserved and a great man.
Right. Well, yeah, it's we see what it led to. And I've thought what would we even have a junior A hockey team here if it weren't for the work that he did in this community and as far as growing the program here?
Yeah, he never gave up on kids, and I think that's the big thing. If a kid doesn't make the high school team at 1 year, it doesn't mean his career is over. And he looked out for that. He wanted those kids to continue to play, to have fun. He always meant a lot to the junior program like that, where the junior golds always had some. They were never done. And I respect him for that totally.
All right, we'll let you guys go and get back downstairs. Thanks for joining us here during the second intermission here at Northwoods Credit Union Arena. Thanks, guys. We'll be back in a moment. Cat 7 and Hockey TV Wilderness Hockey. Yeah, I mean, they'd have to, design it and all that stuff. I don't know what it would take. Maybe you could do that. Sure. We need you to get on that. Oh, they win next week too. Where do they go next week? Is it? Yeah, I heard. Yeah. Come on, Brandon. He's probably gonna be on Saturday too, so we can talk about that.
I leave my phone here.
Let's see here. You guys see Let's see here.
Can't find it.
I don't see anything here.
All right, if you find one, it's fine.
If I see, yeah. All right, I'm going to go back on. We have to do the old out of town scores here. We're hearing the buzzers here, and that's not because this is a game show and we're giving wrong answers. That means it's time for the guys to come out onto the ice for period number 3. Looking at scores from around the league, I mind you, this is the North American Hockey League. I'm going to remind that this score is from, not the North American Football League. A final score in Lewiston, Maine was 10-7 in favor of the Northeast Generals. They get the win by a field goal tonight.
Were there goalies in the game?
Over the Maine Nordiques. That is doubtful. By the way, Maine coached by a grandson of Gordie Howe.
No kidding.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that.
The Maine Nordiques, yes. With maybe the sharpest uniforms in the league. They got the powder blue, much like what the
Nordiques used to
Quebec
have.
Nordiques
Yep.
used to wear. Couple more, or one more East Division score. Northeast falls to Jamestown tonight, 5-2. Looking at the South, Amarillo 5-1 lead over Shreveport after 2. Lone Star has a 3-1 lead over Corpus Christi, just beginning the second. Looking at another South Division game, Topeka with a 1-0 lead over New Mexico. They are late in the first period. And in the Midwest Division, it is Springfield and Fairbanks knotted up at a goal apiece in the third period. Janesville's taken a 5-2 lead over Chippewa. They have just completed the second period in the game in Chippewa Falls. And Kenai River has come back against the Minnesota Magicians. They lead right now 4-3 going towards the third period. And only one other game in the Central Division tonight. Minot and St. Cloud are both off. And Austin and Aberdeen are tied up at 1. And that is looks like, I don't know if this is up to date. That says it's just beginning the second period. That seems like seems like it should be later than that in that game. Just starting the third period here, it's 4-1 in favor of Bismarck. As the puck is swung over to the far wall, Bobcats break across the line. This is Johnson getting tied up along the boards. Puck squirts free to neutral ice. Fish gathers it and comes back in his own zone. And this is Watkins keeping an eye on him. Fish will work from behind his own net. 25 seconds remaining in the Bismarck power play carried over from the first period. Puck is thrown toward the Wilderness net. Nelson will swing this off the glass and clear it the length of the ice. Fish will gather it, and Tyler Watkins is able to force the turnover. Chance shorthanded out in front. They score! Wow. Watkins gets it to Crosby out in front, and he redirects it through the legs of the goaltender Miller. And the Wilderness have made it a 2-goal hockey game. A shorthanded goal for Lewis Crosby, coming 45 seconds into the third period. Crosby getting goals now in back-to-back games. Watkins on the assist, as he was the one that forced the puck free from the corner.
I don't know what Fish was thinking there. It's almost like he just didn't think he was going to grab the puck and shoot it.
And with that goal, that is Crosby getting to the 10-goal mark on the season, now in double digits. As this is swung off the glass to neutral ice, 4-2 score. Well, you get 2 goals that you wanted to set for the beginning of the period. One was to kill off that penalty. The other was to get an early goal to get some momentum, and they did it both all in one fell swoop. And we've got another penalty, possibly. We got a man down in the corner. I don't know. You know what? I didn't see any of the official raise the hand for the penalty. So,
yeah, I think they just kind of went down and they got the puck. So, you know.
Now, Willie Stauber looks like he wants a penalty as he skates away from the corner, and then he shares his thoughts with Blake Holmes. And Blake is like, "Sir, this is a Wendy's." And Willie goes back to the bench.
Oh, Willie, go have a seat. You'll be all right. Just sit down.
And now Garrett Roth is having is expressing his thoughts with the official.
Oh,
meanwhile, Coach, we've got and Coach Sedevi is waiting, is also wanting an explanation as well. Coach Sedevi, 10th season, I believe it is now, with Bismarck. Over 300 wins in his coaching career. Native of Williston, North Dakota, so right there and growing up not too far away. Yeah, he is in his 10th season. Came into the season with 295 victories, so well over 300 wins now for Lane Sedevi. And his assistant coach, Garrett Roth, I believe is the top scorer in Bobcat history. Going back to his playing career. And here is one that is sent. That one went off the glass and ended up deflecting out of play. He just chugged on through.
The whistle. Keep going.
So it looked like it deflected off of a player. Plowing his way through like now this clearing attempt off the glass makes its way to neutral ice. Here is Olsen, feeds it along the left side, brought across the line, and Klein took a hit. The puck came free. Here is Kimball Johnson off the glass, batted to neutral ice. It goes to Adrian. He redirects it across the Bismarck line. Coming back for it is Jack Olsen. And they strip it free. Allard directs it behind the net. Adrian looks to center. And right there was Rasmussen, but he couldn't get his stick free. Here comes Conroy for Bismarck. Gets the shot away pad saved by Johansson, and it comes back to neutral ice. Fish feeds it to Gower. Gower will break across the Wilderness line. Fires this over to the far side. Granis able to direct it to the corner, but Dempsey is there to fling it over to the near side for the Wilderness. It goes to Coakley. He took a hit, moves it ahead for Crosby out to neutral ice. Hanzawa finds Nelson, breaks across the line, gets the shot away right on. The save made by Miller, and the rebound kicks free to Carl Fish. He's able to fling it ahead. That got away from Hillman, and then it's dumped in by Hanzawa. Coakley got the shot away. That went off the side of the net, deflected out of play. And we got a stoppage here with 3:02 expired in the third period. And a 4-2 lead for Bismarck. Wilderness able to get a little bit closer with the goal by Lewis Crosby. Like the way Crosby has played tonight. A lot of hustle and paying off there on that penalty kill with that shorthanded goal. Here comes Rodna. He moves through center. Got the shot away, and that was blocked by Johnson. He flings it off the far wall. It goes to neutral ice. Fish moves it ahead. And as Grant Johnson broke across the line, he's whistled down on an offside. Grant Johnson's got a college commitment to Northern Michigan University. And a face-off will come outside the Wilderness zone. Holmes works it to the right side to the Mercyhurst commit to Johnson. Herder throws it toward Watkins redirected wide of the goal. Galatz collides against the wall. We got a penalty coming against Bismarck. And Fish touches, and the whistle is blown, and it's going to be a hooking call. And I believe it was Galatz was the man that was dragged to the ice. And it'll be Grant Johnson who'll go to the box. So chance for the Wilderness to get a little bit closer. Off the face-off, Wilderness control. Here's Startsev. Trades the puck with Watkins on the near circle. Up top for Startsev. He's got Kimball Johnson to his right. Johnson gets the pass. Tried to force a shot through. Irie made the block, and the Bobcats were able to clear. 25 seconds gone in the Wilderness power play. 0 for 2 tonight. Startsev cross ice for Horn. That caroms away from him. Now here's Myers back to Horn. Myers behind the net. Look to center. That's deflected, and now Jake Marty will work to center. Feeds it for Schwartz across the Wilderness line. Schwartz behind the net, shorthanded for the Bobcats. Killing some time on this penalty. Moves it to neutral ice for Gower. And he'll throw this to the far corner in the Wilderness zone. 1:05 remaining in the power play. Community printing power play at work for the Wilderness. Here's Kimball Johnson from behind his own net. Fires this deep in the Bobcat end, and taking it from behind his own net is Hillman. And an easy clear here for Dawson Klein, and he'll whip it length of the ice. 43 seconds remaining in the Wilderness power play. Here's Ryan Nelson. Across the Bobcat blue line, throws it over to the far corner, caroms toward the rear of the cage. They get it to the blue line. This is Holmes. Down low he goes, and a centering attempt for Myers skips up in the air. Holmes gathers it. Sweeps his way half wall, down low to Herter. Jake Herter over to Myers, up top Nelson. Nelson back to Myers in the corner. Nelson, far side. Holmes, shot blocked, gets another try. That sails over the cage. Now Myers over to Nelson. Tried to force a shot through. It went off a stick to the far corner. Bouncing puck, and Herter tries to settle it down, taken by Lewis Crosby. He feeds it for Myers. Penalty is over. We're back to 5-on-5, and the puck comes free to neutral ice. Martell directs it into the Wilderness zone. 14:10 left here in the third period. 4-2, Bismarck leading. Now Herter to the right. Myers had it jabbed away, coming up with it. Rasmussen, backhand try, steered aside by the goaltender Miller. And now Fish will clear it ahead. Breaking across is Jake Marty. And his shot bounces wide of the goal, comes free in the corner, and collected by Zane Dempsey. Michigan State recruit gets it to Kimball Johnson, gets the shot away. That went wide of the mark. Battle for the loose puck along the wall. Adrian in there along with Rasmussen. Adrian took a hit from Austin Jopi, and it comes free behind the net, taken by Carl Fish. St. Paul, Minnesota native, finds Martell. That got away from him. And it's whipped off the boards by Dempsey to neutral ice as the Wilderness try to work it back the other way. Dempsey again, over to Johnson. Ahead to Hanzawa. That got off of his stick, and now Carl Fish takes over. Fish ahead of steam from behind his own net, ahead to Martell. Martell will dump it in. The Bobcats change on the fly. 13 minutes remaining in the third. Bobcats ahead 4-2. Along the wall, Allard over to Coakley. He'll dump it in. Clark and Coakley go after it in the corner. Coakley sweeps it behind the net. Hanzawa is there. Shikara spins away from one man, works over to the far wall, deals it to the right point to Nelson. He finds Stoyanov. Shot right on, the save by Miller. And the rebound taken by Clark. And he's able to deflect it out of play. Not sure if it went off of his stick or Coakley, as they were the ones going after the puck in the corner. And it looks like it's going to be called on the Bobcats. They'll keep the puck in the Bismarck zone. 12:38 left here in the third. Recapping that second period, we had goals from each team. Hillman for Bismarck and Myers for the Wilderness. Bismarck had a 3-0 lead at the end of the first. As this is sent in the Wilderness zone, Nelson chases it down. Being chased by Johnson. Nelson curls in the corner. And tries to move it ahead, blocked by Johnson. They cough it up again. Stocko gets the return pass, and then he shot one wide. He and Rodna had a give-and-go play there. And the pass came back to Stocko, and he sent it just wide. Another costly turnover, this one by the captain, Nelson, in his own end.
We've seen a few of those in this period by both teams, actually. It's just like that, oh, well, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the puck now.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it for you.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with it?
Yeah, maybe you might have an idea. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
And usually the other person does.
They do.
They know what they want to do.
They want to put it in that net.
That's right. And the goaltender says, "What are you doing, guys?"
Right. Don't do that.
Here's Horn as the Wilderness move back. That got away from Garrett Worth, and it's back at neutral ice. Pitch back in the zone by Johnson. That makes its way on goal. Steered aside by Miller. It's loose behind the net. Olsen gathers it, works it off the wall. It gets to Hillman, and he deals it to neutral ice. Johnson slides it across the blue line to Holmes. Out to neutral ice. Swatted away from Myers. Schlatic couldn't control it. Now Myers tries to work through neutral ice, dumps it in. Heads to the bench. Wilderness changing up. Gower collects it behind his net. Sends it along the far wall for Hillman. He overskated, has to regroup. Backhand pass goes to Olsen. He'll dump it in. That'll rattle along the boards to the far side. In there is Galatz. Also Johnson. He's able to throw it to the neutral zone again. Clark skates back for Bismarck. Curls back in the corner. Former Jamestown Rebel. Jams it off the boards, and Watkins moves it forward. Before falling on top of it is Jake Marty. And they whistle it down with 10:53 left in the third period. And a 4-2 lead in favor of Bismarck.
Well, the next goal is definitely critical here. If the Wilderness can get that goal, it can make the game. You know, it's definitely a lot more interesting.
You know, it's what they say about the 2-goal lead. Most dangerous lead in hockey, they say.
It is.
I don't know. I'll take a 2-goal lead over a 1-goal lead any day. Here's
Right.
Jopi. Gets the shot away right on the save made. Wow, good stick work there by Austin Jopi through traffic. And able to work his way out in front. Got the shot on goal. Johansson able to make the save. Second period, Wilderness had the lead in shots on goal at 11-10. Bismarck led in the first, 13-10. Now, if it weren't for just a few mistakes here and there, just not being more careful with the puck, this could be a very different hockey game right now. Still, they're not out of it. Clark able to throw this to the far corner. Schwartz drops it for Conroy. He stick handles along the wall, gets it to Clark, sweeps it along the blue line. Stauber shot blocked by Rasmussen, and then coming back is Conroy to knock Rasmussen to the ice, and he takes over the puck. Now Stauber, left side. Irie out in front. Conroy redirects this wide. This has been a hard-working line for Bismarck tonight. Schwartz with it. He's got a commitment to Air Force Academy. Gets it to Clark. And Stauber fans on the shot. Irie deals it for Conroy. He overskated, and Nelson threw him to the ice. Here it's played off the end wall. Nelly going after it. Feeds it to neutral ice where it's taken over by Dawson Klein. Klein dumps it into the Wilderness zone. Stoyanov is there. Can't get it around Stocko. And they both tie each other up along the wall. Here it's picked up by Johnson, and a shot deflects over the cage. Grabbed by Rodna. Lars Rodna stick handles to the high slot. Makes his way to the near circle. Hands it off for Johnson. Here's a shot by Klein that deflects over the net and out of play. And we got our mid-period timeout. Here are the goal scorers in this game. Grant Johnson, George Granis, Dawson Klein and Will Hillman for the Bobcats. Aaron Myers and Lewis Crosby for the Wilderness. And we've got 9:09 left to play here in period 3. Not a bad crowd for a night where we've got a lot of hockey fans that have made their way south for a big championship game tomorrow.
Well, it's nice to the Wilderness and all teams are in the league. I know that they have these little special things going on in it being Churchill Elementary night here.
Right.
So it's nice to see the families out, a lot of kids, and maybe they wouldn't have that opportunity to come and watch normally. So it gives them the opportunity to come and watch and take it in and see what this is all about.
These elementary school nights have always been fun.
Yeah, they
to
sure
get
are.
the kids here. So
it's a lot of fun to watch all the kids just enjoying themselves and kind of hanging out with their buddies. And they're not in school; they're actually doing something outside. And I think that that's really important nowadays is to have that cohesiveness, not only in school but also elsewhere.
Face off to the right of Johansson. 9:09 left here in the third. 4-2 in favor of Bismarck. Wilderness win the draw. And skating it out to center is Hanzawa, despite being shadowed and blanketed there by Stocko. And the Bobcats come back. Rodna tries to break toward the net. And he got held up there by Blake Holmes. Pitch to the near wall. It gets to the right point. Klein shot toward the net, redirected wide by Johnson. Puck gets swatted around along the wall. It deflects out in front. Coakley is there to feed it to Hanzawa. And he pitches it deep in the zone. Olsen able to deal it over along the far wall. Crosby knocks it back toward the rear of the cage. There's Olsen getting it to it first, and he finds Stocko. Bismarck captain pitches it forward, and it's brought across by Johnson. Drops it for Rodna. Cross ice he goes. Pass got away from Hillman, and the Wilderness are able to jump on it. This is Lewis Crosby. Can't get across the Bobcat blue line thanks to the defensive work of Carl Fish. Battle for the loose puck in the slot. Here is Hillman. He'll spin in the corner. Will Hillman, stick handling along the wall, falls to his knees, throws it toward the net. Here's Granis with a shot. That went wide. Now Holmes will throw it along the boards, and it slips over the glass, and it goes out of play. And we're down to less than 8 to play here in the third period in a 4-2 game in favor of Bismarck.
Skating with a little more intensity. I can sense it as the period has progressed here.
I'm seeing a little bit more jump to what we're seeing from Bismarck here. They're looking for that dagger shot here.
Yep.
Put the final nail in the coffin in this hockey game. And this is Myers able to pitch it off the glass, and it gets behind Gower. Fish will chase it down in his own end. That's Garrett Worth in on the forecheck along with Horn. Worth coming into this game with goals in his last 2, 14 points in his last 10 games for Garrett Worth, who is hungry to try to help this team and also pick up that Division I commitment. Puck played through center, redirected in by Granis in the Wilderness zone. Sent the other way by Myers, and he's worked off the puck by Schlatic. Back at neutral ice, it goes for Fish. He's able to dump this into the Wilderness end. Bouncing puck in the corner, taken by Nelson. He lost control of it. Now Granis takes over. Bouncing puck directed to Nelson. He's able to get it to Myers. 7:05 left to play here in the third. And Myers overskated the puck, coughed it up. Granis directs it to the near side. I'll tell you what, when Aaron Myers mishandles things like that, you know what's happening to everybody. There's an epidemic out here. I tell you what. 6:45 left to play here in the third. Jopi slips it into the zone. It gets behind Dempsey. He allows Johnson to take it. It's not. Yeah, it's even the skilled players that it's just not their night.
Right.
Johnson feeds it ahead for Galatz. Christian Galatz drops it back to Johnson. Johnson will bring it across the Bobcat line over to the far side. Shot right on. A save by Miller. Been a while since we've seen activity right on net in the Bobcat zone, and nice work by Galatz getting right in the face of Miller.
Go to the net.
Yep. Wait for anything you can
stick on the ice. Go to the net.
Yep. And Miller will watch this face-off to his left. We got 6:18 left to play in the third. 4-2. Bobcats leading. Watkins in on the draw with Irie. Here's a shot by Galatz that's blocked. It's out at neutral ice. Dempsey gets the pass from Johnson. He'll dump it in. Karams to the far side. Galatz over skates. It's loose on the half wall. Nobody wants it. Now finally somebody goes after it. It's a hot potato there. Now the puck gets to Galatz. He drops the pass, and Johnson had to reach for it. It came out to neutral ice. Galatz gets the puck again, dumps it into the zone, throws it on goal. Miller decides to hang on. And that will lead to a stoppage. 5:48 left in the third.
Yeah, I don't think Miller liked what he was seeing there with the matchup of the line, so he wanted to kind of stop things and let's get something different out here.
There's a good load of commitments on this Bobcat team. We've mentioned a few of them. As the puck comes free in the corner, this is Myers. Gets it to the high slot. Holmes toward the net right on. Miller able to direct that to the corner. Puck comes free along the extended goal line. Pass for Worth off target. Holmes sends a shot wide of the goal. Hustled down by Nate Horn. Spins it along the boards. This is Myers. Feeds it for Worth. Looks to center. Bouncing puck. Gets to Lars Rodna. Sends it ahead, and it's swiped into the Wilderness zone by Johnson. Goes behind the net. Holmes able to work it to the near side. Here's Nate Horn. To the right for Nelson. He gets it ahead for Myers. Gets the shot away. Blocked. Chases it down in the corner. Jabs it behind the net. Comes free to the near wall. And it's thrown to neutral ice. Nelson hustles it down. He's got Johnson hot on his tail. Sets things up from behind the net. Throws it to neutral ice. Finds Horn. Banks it ahead. And it's dumped in by Mitch Allard. And now from behind his own cage, Nate Clark will hustle out. With Rasmussen hot on his tail. Moves it to neutral ice. Chipped across the line. Schwartz is there. Also in there is Conroy. Conroy's another one going to Air Force Academy. Schwartz with it. Over to Conroy. Shot. And that ends up wide of the goal. Now Stauber will swing it along the boards. Makes its way to Irie. His shot went wide. And Adrian will chase it down at neutral ice. Nate Adrian moving in. Throws it toward the net. Rasmussen was looking for a backdoor play, and they couldn't connect. Game of inches, and I tell you what, Gavin Rasmussen has been a victim of some of those inches. He's just come up just short so many times. Less than 4 to play here in the third. 4-2 lead in favor of Bismarck. Nate Clark deals it to the near side for Stauber. We got Crosby and Coakley there on the forecheck, and they force Stauber to throw this one over the glass out of play.
When Willie was off the ice here for a little while, not sure what was going on, but the team, Bismarck, skated differently. And now when he's back out, he is a leader out there. You can really see it and sense it, and kind of a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, no, he's been a good hockey player for a while and has adapted well to this level. And you can see it there when you become a leader. Your actions on the ice. He sets a good example. Here's a shot by Blake Holmes that goes wide of the mark. He's very vocal, very physical. And obviously, you get those emotions sometimes, can
sometimes
do a lot to motivate your club.
Yep, most definitely. And
Hanzawa forces a turnover. Shot right on, and Miller able to make the save, and it comes free to the near side. Now Nelson able to feed it to Worth. He steps across. Garrett Worth. It slipped off of his stick. Banked off the wall, and it's back loose at neutral ice. Chased down by Stoyanov. He finds Nelson, moves it ahead to Horn. Horn will bank it off the end wall. A Karams for Gower. Gower's got a commitment to Alaska Anchorage. Clearing it's blocked by Myers. His shot blocked. Martel sends it the other way. Stoyanov through center. Myers couldn't handle the pass. Delayed offside call as Martel swings it behind the net. 2:15 left to play. Wilderness trailing by 2. Stoyanov gains the Bobcat line. Tried to feed it for Horn, and the puck went airborne on the near wall. Jopi with it. Able to move it far side. Jacob Marty clears. He finds Rodna. Touch pass goes to Jopi across the line. And ran into traffic from Holmes, and the puck came free for Johansson to control. He hangs on with the 4-2 score in favor of Bismarck, and 1:55 left to play here in the third.
Well, I'm guessing the Wilderness are going to turn it up even more. They have been skating pretty well in this period, and you eliminate the first period, and it's a much different game.
Timeout
really
being
is.
called. Did not see who called the timeout. It looks like, yeah, okay. It is on the Wilderness called the timeout.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, looking at the other Central Division game tonight is between Austin and Aberdeen, and that game is still tied at 1. 11:05 left to play in the third in that contest. Wilderness are 7 points back of the Austin Bruins for that final playoff spot. Bruins are playing the Aberdeen Wings tough tonight, and they've just taken the lead. Just taking the lead as I look at the scoreboard. Nate Sully scores to give Austin a 2-1 lead. So they are battling, and looks like they putting themselves in good position to at least get a point in that game. So this is critical here for the Wilderness to find themselves down by 9 points as we head towards what it's going to be only like 12 games left now in the season after tonight. So time running out.
It's going to take an awful lot of good hockey to climb into that.
Yep, and they're going to need help.
Yep.
We don't have any more games against Austin, so we can't have any head-to-head points there. So
Yep.
minute 55 left in the third. Johansson to watch this face-off to his right. The Bobcats win the draw. Here's a shot that went wide by Carl Fish. Whip behind the net, and it'll be taken by Holmes. He finds Worth over to Johnson. He's able to slip it across the line. It gets to Jack Olson, who clears to center. Got to keep an eye on Isaac Johansson as to when he is taken out of the net for an extra attacker. He's headed to the bench now. Horn gets it to Worth. Coughed up to Johnson. Played to Stocko. Puck pops up in the air. Batted down, and Myers overskates, but he's able to get the back pass to Holmes. His shot blocked by Schwartz. He uses the glass to clear. Minute 5 remaining in the period. They get it to Johnson. He can't get around Stocko. Puck ping-pongs around at center. Here's a shot by Stocko that ends up wide of the mark. 50 seconds remaining in the third. Wilderness trailing by 2. Rodna sweeps it toward the net as he's falling down, and Johnson will head after it in the corner. 38 seconds remaining. Stretch pass goes to Holmes. He'll dump it in. Behind the net, Fish gets it to the right point. As he's falling down, Johnson tries to throw it to the corner. It's gathered by Allard. His shot is blocked. Gets to Holmes, left point. Rodna drags it to neutral ice. 18 seconds remaining. His shot went wide. And this is going to be an icing on Bismarck. So 16 seconds left. So a face-off coming back, and the Wilderness are going to have to make quick work here. Win the draw and get a scoring chance. You lose the draw, well, you're basically, you might get one goal just for
Score off the draw.
right. You got to make it quick here. They do win the face-off. Puck bounces toward the wall, but Fish is able to pitch it out to neutral ice. Rodna takes over and throws it toward the net, and he scores. It's 5-2, and that'll do it. That will seal it up for Bismarck. With 8 seconds remaining in the third. Lars Rodna gets that goal. '18th goal of the season for Rodna. He leads this Bismarck team in goals. He gets the empty netter here. And the Wilderness are going to fall for the 5th straight time at home. Here's Fish. He curls back in his own zone, and time ticks away, and that ends the contest. So a 6-game stand here in the month of February has not started well for the Wilderness. They dropped the first 3, including the first 2 last weekend against Aberdeen. And Bismarck comes away with the win here tonight. Wilderness fall to 22-22-3 on the season. Shots on goal that period, Wilderness get 8 compared to 5 for the Bobcats. Bobcats had a lot of offensive zone time there without many shots on goal. They were able to control the play for a good portion of that period without really generating a lot of offense, but they killed a lot of time.
Yeah.
And
the other thing I noticed with them is that they're, they can be physical when they need to be physical, but I don't think that's their game. They don't choose to be physical. They'll be that if they have to, but they'd rather just move the puck around and things like that. So that's exactly what I see.
So the Wilderness end up outshooting Bismarck tonight, 29-28. And Isaac Johansson, I tell you, he's thrown into a tough position, being the number 1 goaltender now with Caleb Johnson out. And, he's got the Wilderness did not give him a lot of help tonight with a lot of the mistakes that were made, left him hanging out to dry. He makes 24 saves tonight. And Andrew Miller gets the win and stops 27 of 29. Your 3 stars, Tyler Watkins, the number 3 star, Lewis Crosby, the number 2 star, and the number 1 star goes to Aaron Myers. I don't know. Nobody picked Aaron Myers. I don't think anybody picked Aaron Myers. He was a free, yeah. Bismarck improves to 28-11-8-7 on the season, and we'll see how things work out in that game with the Austin Bruins and the Aberdeen Wings. And that'll do it for us here tonight. Let's see. We'll take another quick look. 9:07 in the 3rd period. Oh, Aberdeen has tied it up, 2-2. Oh, so we'll see how that works out. All right, that'll do it for us here tonight. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. I want to thank Sean Krauser for your work here tonight. I tell you, that's a first intermission just flew right by as we were just we had hockey talk like crazy there.
Well, we had a lot to talk about. We'll probably do the same tomorrow night.
Why not, huh? I want to thank the family of Eric and Becca and Kenzie for their work behind the camera. Kenzie got in there in the final period, final couple minutes of the period on the camera here. Did a great job.
She did fine work. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's right. And she had her friend Quinn here, and we had just a great time here in the booth. But unfortunately, the boys on the ice could not pull it off. 5-2, they fall to Bismarck tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Marty Hill. Have a good night, everyone. You've been watching Wilderness Hockey on Hockey TV in Cat 7.